There we go. Push live. So you saw my engineering flowchart. Did you like that? Yes.
Yeah, that's a classic one. That is.
Typical one.
Yeah, WD-40 or duct tape.
Well, depending which way you go around.
Yeah, many things you can't fix with either of them. Oh, and a 12 ball.
I discovered that the cats.
A small, lightweight calibrating hammer in the £5 range. Oh, bloody fix it!
I just discovered that we got sent some pet food and it was in a box. It was a box that apparently was full of freeze-dried duck hearts. So I thought of Paul when
Freeze-dried duck hearts.
Obviously there's some pets out there that like freeze-dried duck hearts. So there you go. Well, Alan said he might be a bit late. Probably not very late, but I just wanted to know, is the market at your place? Farmers? No?
We don't. This village has bugger all.
Well, because he's going to the farmers market, so I thought maybe you're having it.
Well, he ain't coming all this way, I can tell you. His chariot hasn't got enough charge to get all the way up the route.
Dear. We need to make him solar powered. G'day, Clive. Oh, I chat people in the wrong spot. Hang on. Yeah, go.
That'll be it. Where's it bloody called? Higham Ferrers, which is only a mile or two up the road for him, I think. If I remember rightly.
No,
he couldn't. If I was to pop over and see Alan, if I set off now, I'd probably get there in I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe a bit longer.
All right. Yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch.
G'day, Clive. G'day, Doodle. How's it going?
It's not got him saved in Google Maps. How far is it? Distance from home. Oh, there you go. 142 miles, 2 hours and 40 minutes. If I set off now.
There you go.
Because he's right out the east.
Who was the claimed FE with a high IQ of 143, Timbo?
Apocryphon.
Oh, really? Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. That was the one who was saying,
God.
saying, yeah, he sat the test. That's what I said, I don't think he did. And then he made these other claims.
There he is. I guess he's not at the market.
Oh, man.
Market was last week.
Was it last week?
I weren't sure.
Look at dates when stuff posted. No, I'm mildly hungover this morning.
You've got the live stream running.
You got a live stream running, Alan?
There he is.
Oh shit! Sorry.
That's all right. We're gonna wait.
30-second echo.
We're gonna wait till you got up to the bit where we said you got the live stream, Alan. That's all right, mate. That's not a problem.
Sorry, hadn't realised I hadn't muted the stream.
Yeah.
But no, you're all good.
And Clive Wells wants a double dose of Lindsay. Yes, Lindsay.
Oh, you can have a double dose of Lindsay. That's fine. I got 2 Lindsays queued up.
Well, you're going to have an umpteen doses of Lindsay because he keeps putting out some of these little short live videos he does. Oh, there was one he put up the other day, and he's just filming the sound. He doesn't actually say anything.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, they're just
what's this about?
They're just strange.
Weird. But yeah, I upset him.
Ah, yes, you did. Don't do that. Can't upset.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Types of saxophones.
There you go. There's one for Paul. Paul, I thought he'd like that one.
I can see alto and bass. But I'm not that au fait on saxophones, I have to admit.
Well, I thought funny was
baritone.
it's meant to be the hard one. I'm thinking it's not that hard. Come on.
Really?
That's right.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, obviously, okay. What's the first one?
Alto.
Easy. Alto.
Alto.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the next time one? Farmers.
Next one's baritone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
I can't-
the third one.
I don't
Could
know.
it-
Roten. Oh, tenor.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
We've had baritone. So what's the next one?
Oh, fuck knows. I don't know.
Porn apps?
Persona.
No. Yeah, it's soprano.
Soprano.
Oh, yeah, soprano. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last, you got to
And
get the last one.
All about the bass.
All about the bass. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
all about the bass.
All about the bass. So there you go. Where are you guys?
Not that musically inclined or educated, shall we say.
It's okay. I just was surprised that was a hard one. I think most people would have got that one. They didn't really need to know about saxophones. Oh, so
They're really anagrams, aren't they?
yeah. Which doesn't. Oh, it's not.
Oh, dear.
Come on, later. Oh,
Yes,
you.
I don't have it to hand, but I can always go looking for the one I upset Lindsay on because it's just face palmingly appalling.
I think I've got that one. Hang on, see. That was...
I mean, we know he makes shit up, but it's like, oh, come on, mate. At least put some effort into it. Don't just stand there and blatantly lie. You know?
What's
He
this?
He does that every week.
Oh, hang on. Where were
What
we?
was that?
This was. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Was it the Sigma Taurus one? I think.
Yeah. Well, because he's going on about the stars in the northern hemisphere are just mirrored in the southern hemisphere, and it's like, well, no, they're not.
Yeah.
But then he puts up a little diagram to show what he's on about, and it's just like, you're just lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just making shit up; you're blatantly lying. Yeah.
The ship has been destroyed.
Well, hang on. We'll get back to that one in a sec. I'm just finding the one that you did.
He's a flirt. Of course, he's basically just straight up lying.
I know, but it's just words fail me.
Remember Toon's first law of flirt?
Got a load of fluff.
Just checking. Was it a short or was it a full one? No, it can't be a short because you can't have.
No,
comments.
it was a short one.
Can you
Let
have
me see if I
shorts?
can find it in my history.
Here we are. Shame. This is the shame, not how it works here. Where we are. Hang on a second. Let's put this one. This one. You all got a farmer's boy commenting.
Yeah, here we
4
go.
days ago.
That's the one.
Okay. We'll play that one. Let me just unmute it.
Someone just asked me if the southern stars are reflected from the north, what represents the Southern Cross? What's the Southern Cross? The crux around Sigma Octantis. Only took me 2 minutes to have a look. And what do we have here?
Doesn't look anything like it.
There's Polaris. There's the Little Dipper.
Yeah, no big dipper there.
So you turn it around, and there you have the pointers and the cross.
But it's not.
It wasn't very hard.
Well, that's not how it works at all.
Oh no! It's they're pointing in the right way.
This
The
revolves
pointers aren't in
overnight.
line with the Southern Cross,
And the
pointing
Southern
at the
Hemisphere.
Southern Celestial Point.
So does this in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So someone just asked me,
Yes.
I mean, if you can't remember what the Southern Cross and the pointers look like in the sky, just do a quick Google search, and it's nothing
Nothing like that. No. That's right.
Nothing like that. And of course, he's just showing the Little Dipper. Well, where's the Big Dipper, or some of us call it over here the Plough, because they're both pointing down to Polaris. But he's just showing the Little Dipper. Let's forget about the Big Dipper, because there's nothing like that in the south. I mean, the stars are completely different. Oh no, they're just mirrored.
No.
And anyway, who in the Northern Hemisphere uses the Little Dipper to find?
Well, you don't,
Polaris?
because you're
You use the big one because it's easier.
Yeah, on a clear night. Oh, there it is. There's why they call it the Plough. There's the share. There's the plough blade. Those two stars point up at Polaris. I'd struggle to even see the Little Dipper, I think. But
So
of
would
course,
I.
if he showed the Big Dipper, that would make his explanation even worse than it already is. But we know that the Southern Cross is pointing one way, and an imaginary line between the two pointers, and then a perpendicular to that is pointing another way. And it's got nothing to do with what he, drawing on a bit of paper and turning it around. Sorry, mate. That's just, I mean, even for Lindsay, that's bollocks.
Yeah, that was bad.
You tell us,
I
Bob.
pointed it out. He called me a snowflake.
Well, you did.
How upset you?
And I left a comment on another video, and he said, "Oh well, you've been indoctrinated." I thought, no, I've got an education, mate. Thank you. Oh, he's Evil Knievel.
Hey Matt, how you going?
G'day. Can you hear me?
I can now.
You're getting closer.
Yeah, close to the
Is that
mic.
better?
Is all.
Is that better?
It is better. It is better.
Yeah.
Bit faint though, is it still? I guess.
Oh no, it's good now. It's good now.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
So you're just in time for our. We did have a little preview of Lindsay, but this is our little first Lindsay. This is Lindsay talking some of the most sensible stuff I've ever heard him say.
The ship has been destroyed.
Well,
My crew are dead.
instead of complete bollocks, it's
No
just sort
life.
of partly bollocks then.
The atmosphere is unbearable. There's nothing to be seen for miles. 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 It's desolate, but there's this water substance. Oh, shit. Oh, no, it's just me. Hush my head up. The substance is like water, but it's not. It's salty. A lot like salt water. And there's creatures here that look like seagulls. They even sound like seagulls.
Probably because they
It's
are
a strange
seagulls.
place.
Yeah, but
There
birds
it
are fake,
is.
don't forget.
Oh yeah.
There you go. So
This
Oh, yeah,
tiny
that's
robot
good.
mouse can finish this
Shush.
maze in just 6
What
seconds.
did I just watch? What did I just
Exactly.
watch? What was that about?
I'm
You
sure he
tell
did
me.
another one where he's on the same bit of beach and
Yeah.
he's just filming the sand. I don't think he actually says anything.
no, but I was sort of like, what the, why would you post that?
So was that who was that? Was that Lindsay? Was it?
Yeah, that's Lindsay. Yeah.
Oh, he's doing different stuff then. I suppose it's a change of sorts.
Yes, yes.
He's been
Yeah.
doing this for a few weeks now. He's meandering
he?
about on the beach and just filming these little, 30-second shorts, but none of them make any bloody sense. I mean, it's like that one. What was that about? He was just, he was off in his own little world doing some imaginary thing, and then he puts it on the internet.
Okay. Mm.
Do you think his I mean no, I've no words. I've lost the words. Sorry.
Okay, right,
Words have gone. I'm
no.
not- Yeah, just forget it. Words are not coming out. I need more tea. That's what I need.
Or tea. Okay.
More
Well,
tea.
We do have a short.
He's good.
We do have a short Lindsay bingo. I was just giving the time to see if some of the Lindsay fans, some of the other Lindsay fans were coming in. We have a few Lindsay fans. I do have a new Lindsay bingo though. Yeah, posted out there. I added
Yeah,
a
there was
word.
another of his I commented on, and
Yeah.
then somebody else put up a comment, and I think they were talking about me, but not directly to me. And I just sort of said, "Is that aimed at me?" And he come back and said, "Is there a you?"
Right.
What does that even mean? Is there a you? What?
They're all
No wonder the
conspiracy
Bible is,
theorists,
because
aren't they?
you as fucking crack as his ears. Is there a you?
You.
Oh, I don't know. Let me check. Oh, there is.
That's a bit like, I don't know who it is, but it's a bit like a guy that comes on Jem's Discord every now and again, and somebody can crop up and say, "Oh, I'm eating a cheese and ham sandwich," and he'll crop and say, "But is it really a cheese and ham sandwich?"
That's toothbrush guy.
You go, "Well, yeah, it is because I'm eating it, but how do you know?" He'll say something like that. Stupid, I can't remember his name.
That's toothbrush guy.
Weird.
It's the
Yeah,
guy,
I think that's him.
Clever.
Yeah.
guy who doesn't like, who doesn't, says we shouldn't be using toothpaste, and doesn't wash, doesn't shower.
Oh,
Oh, really?
yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
He does-
Yeah, I don't have baths.
He's really just a contrarian.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, total contrarian. Totally.
Yeah, we know a few of them. Gleam.
Yeah.
Are you a flat earther today or not? Which side are you fighting for? I'm a Mac earther. Well, that's just even sillier.
What's the Mac Earther again? Remind me what that is. I haven't heard that term for a long time. Kind of remember.
I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Something devised by actually Mac himself, Ernst Mac, but I can't. I'd have to Google it. I can't remember what it means because I've forgotten.
No, don't bother.
But it's typical Gleam because 1 minute he's supporting the flat Earth, next minute he's supporting the globe Earth, then he says, "Oh, I'm not either. I'm a Mac Earth," and it's like, no, that's not how you spell twat. Although the A's in there, but yeah.
Yeah.
I swear they're just trying to make them so they think they sound clever. It's like I'm convinced that most of what Bev does is an act.
Oh yeah.
If you think you can only measure straight lines in miles and you can't measure anything else in miles, I'm sorry, that's deliberate,
Paul's put out his clues, by the way, to his mystery scientist today. I was going to say it starts with Lindsay, but no, it's not enough letters. So he worked on early yeah, I think. No, maybe not. Yeah, go on.
No, it's okay, actually, don't worry. I've just answered my own question, but thank you anyway.
What? Yes, please, Tusha.
I wondered that Turing test, whether that was who it was. So.
Theremin.
He is, of course, correct.
Yes, but I also know that Paul's had a new purchase recently as well. So.
Yeah, I've ordered one. I've ordered a Theremin. It should be coming on Tuesday.
So what we have to do is, when it comes next time, we'll get you to we'll see how quickly you progress. We'll make you play something in a few months' time. We'll see if you've improved. Because I think it's going to be a tricky instrument. Although, it depends how steady your hand is. There it goes. Oh, there you go.
I also ordered a 61 key synth, Timbo.
You got a synth, did you?
I don't have a synth, but I've ordered one. So
yeah,
I've got a Behringer UBXA coming.
Okay. Well, that should make it interesting. Well, I keep watching this guy called Frank Tedesco. He does a lot of those, he goes online and tell me a song and he plays it. And his keyboards keep multiplying as you watch his YouTube over time. He starts off with 2 keyboards and now he's got 5 keyboards. The other day he's saying, "Oh yes, I've got 5 keyboards you can see, and there's another 3 out the back." So I think he's doing quite well on YouTube at the moment. Yeah, I think that once you start, it's a bit hard to stop. Well, okay, we got our Lindsay bingo cards up.
Yep.
Yeah, got mine
We're
ready.
all set. See a nice new colour. Do you reckon it's pale blue
Somewhere.
colour?
I don't know where it's gone now. I've lost my bingo card. Where is it? I'll make a new one.
Make a new one.
I've lost it. Yeah, I will. I'll make a new one. I'll tell you what, I'll make a new one.
Yeah,
How about
that would be good. You can make a couple if you want. Farmer
that? Yeah, I
usually
know
does.
I can, but I
Farmer
can't.
usually does a
I can
couple.
only coat one thing. I can only coat one thing at a time. I'm a man. I can't multitask.
Oi.
Oi, men are actually
Just
good at
one of the-
multitasking. Depends what you term
I can't
multitasking.
multitask. I really can't.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
true.
Oh, there was some studies done and they found that actually men can multitask as well, or if not better. But it depends on what you could call multitasking. Anyway,
True.
true. Let's go.
Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination, where everything's explained
yeah.
in the way of physics,
Yeah.
religion,
Yeah, it does
cultural
look like,
myths and
doesn't it?
legends, so-called myths and legends.
It's
They're
very,
actual facts.
he's very pale today.
Hmm.
Right, yeah. Let's get the subtitles on because that helps with the.
Lindsay and facts do not good bedfellows make.
Now,
No.
do I have, just for a play, do I have any of those questions? Any of those words? No? No. Facts? Funny enough, facts is not one of the questions he says very often.
Physics encoded in the stories. Well, today's video is about how the northern hemisphere stars are mirrored to the southern hemisphere. Okay?
Yeah.
I've got
This is
that.
just
That's one at least.
one example. It's the most clearest because it's where the mirror, where things fold, and you can get the mirror effect and understand it clearly, more clearly, using Orion's belt as the reference point. Okay, so if you go out into the night sky at the moment, these days, you'll see Orion's belt. Try and catch it when it's at your zenith. That makes it more understandable what I'm about to explain. Okay, so
Yeah, righto.
down here in the northern hemisphere,
Down here.
I look towards the celestial equator, and I'm seeing a bit of the northern hemisphere on the northern horizon, and the southern rotation, star rotation. There's two star rotations. You just have to believe me if you don't have a camera and don't do star trail photography or anything like that.
But you
need
don't
to
do
listen to
star
me.
trail.
I'm telling the truth, okay?
I was going to say, when did he do
If
any?
you did film in star trail photography,
Yeah.
you'd get a rotation like this, and you'd get, and if I swung around and looked south, I'd get it on direct on my meridian north to south. I'd get a full circular rotation. Something you cannot explain if you live on one spinning ball, because I can instantly get the
Yes, you can.
full 360 circle, a rotation in the sky, even though your ball Earth hasn't spun 1 degrees. Okay? And at the same time, if I had another camera next to that doing time lapse on a star tracker, I can track a star in that rotation slowly moving west out of that rotation. So that rotation is going 15 degrees per hour, and you know, you only have to listen to this spinning ball bullshit. They explain that circle, right? But how do they explain the other 15 degrees per hour, the star moving this way?
Because it's not.
Because all the stars that move into this rotation are all moving out.
Come
But you
again?
only get one image on your
You didn't
meridian,
polarise his mount properly.
your arc of horizon.
No, or at
In
all.
star trail photography, you're getting all the stars in the rotation, because that rotation is a mirrored effect from the northern rotation. So if you're
I
direct
reckon he's
north to
just put
south,
his
you're
telescope
getting a
straight on
direct
top of the
north
top
to
of the
south
tripod.
mirrored rotation.
There's no mount.
Except those stars are only a slice of the pie from the northern circle. But you've got a permanent circle
you know?
because
You're
there's
not
always a
northern
permanent rotation. The vortex back at the north
Right.
is a reflection of the central northern rotation of creation. It's reflected up into the night sky. So there'll always be a circle because there's always a moving vortex back at the centre Arctic, unseen to man.
Ah,
We only see the nighttime image up in the sky. Well, that's reflected out to the south. But because the south is all around the north, we just get a slice of the pie. Okay?
The south is all around
That
the
image
north.
is
Yes.
reflecting an image out on everybody's meridian to the south. So they're all getting a slightly revolved image.
Then why
as
do
the
the
image
North only get a
turns
part
around
of the
the
pie?
earth.
Yeah.
We all get one. We all get one on our horizon, a rotation, a mirrored effect. Well, if I can video that in time, star trail, get the circle, but in time lapse with the camera right next to it, I can follow one of those stars in there, moving out of that rotation, and track it all the way around to the west till it disappears.
Same as the Star
Can't
Trail.
explain that on a ball. Two
Oh,
15-degree per hour
That'll be a
motion.
satellite or an aeroplane.
So anyway,
Probably,
back
yeah.
to this. So if I'm looking to the celestial north, the celestial equator north, seeing Orion's belt at my zenith, I've got the south coming over in front of me a little bit, the rest is all behind me. This is how I see the stars. Regal and Sirius. They are blue, okay? And down on this side, because realise from the south, this side is the southern hemisphere that swings over behind me. This is the dividing line, the street here. And that is all the northern hemisphere. So in the northern hemisphere we get
in
Betelgeuse
the northern.
and Aldebaran as
Betelgeuse.
nice orangey red stars. Why is that? Because south is my hemisphere, they're blue, it's blue shift, close to me.
Oh, God.
That's further away in the northern
Yes.
hemisphere, that's red shift. Okay?
No.
Now what's happening is this is a mirror effect of the north.
So he's talking bollocks.
Is he what?
Okay? So we say Rigel, pronounce it Rigel, Sirius, Betelgeuse, pronounced Betelgeuse,
Betelgeuse.
Aldebaran.
Betelgeuse.
Okay, so that's what we see from the south. Now you've got to imagine that gets folded right at that line there, that crease, becomes a mirrored image on the southern hemisphere sky. See the northern hemisphere star rotations up there, that gets pulled down and put in the south like this. So basically, there's your north, it gets pulled down and put in the south like this. I had another drawing which shows how the northern hemisphere is anti-clockwise, but when you fold it and look at the reverse, it shows how the southern field becomes clockwise. Okay? You can probably see that in some earlier videos of mine. Okay, so that's what we see from the north. From the southern hemisphere looking north. Now, what are you seeing from the north? You're seeing half this on your horizon looking south, southern hemisphere,
But you don't.
and this is coming over your head. So you're looking north to Orion's belt, okay? And what do you see? Well, our regal in the south becomes your Betelgeuse, and our Sirius in the north becomes your Aldebaran. They are both
What about
blue
the- what
because
about the
they're
rest
in
of the
your
stars?
hemisphere, blue shift. But in the southern hemisphere Aldebaran becomes your Sirius. And our northern hemisphere Sirius becomes your Aldebaran.
Is he all on about Aldebaran?
Sorry,
Aldebaran.
I think so.
your regal.
As opposed to the younger
Sorry,
Baron. It's the
put
older
it down
Baron.
here. Your a northern hemisphere Betelgeuse becomes your regal,
You said it 3 times
Okay.
now. It
and to
should
you
appear.
they are both
We're in
red-shifted
trouble now.
Yeah.
because they're not
I
in
think
your
he's having trouble
hemisphere.
saying Rigel as well.
It's very
isn't he?
logical.
He is, yeah.
Okay, this is another world first. This site's all about world firsts. This is where you learn the truth about everything.
I
Except it
did
doesn't.
say to him there's a
Understanding
reason
reality.
he's the only person saying these things. He didn't like that either.
Stepping out of the deception. stepping out of the matrix to find the truth. You're living in a lie.
You
From
are.
the day you
You are
started
in-
school, it's been lies, lies, lies. All your history is lies, lies, lies. But at the same time, you've got to imagine man's mind is very simple, because for hundreds of years they've never noticed this.
Because it doesn't
Look
work.
at all the
that way.
astrophotographers on YouTube. Have they pointed to this? Have they pointed this out? No.
'Cause it's
They're
not
very
true.
simple-minded. You think they're intelligent. On a level, they're intelligent because they know how to operate stuff, but they don't know how to think. They can't think deep enough. Their brains don't work properly. But they do once they go through their second birth. That's what all religion's all about. It's
Wouldn't it-
describing the
If
second
it's so
birth.
easy, you'd be able to show us a
How
photo.
it opens up your
flip it,
right-hand
and
side
how
of the
it perfectly
brain.
lines, wouldn't you?
God's on the right-hand side. The wisdom, the knowledge comes from the right hemisphere of the brain. Well, I can expose all this stuff. Nobody else can do it. Well, nobody else is doing it. Okay?
Reason for that, mate.
Concentrate on this. Get a good look at that. There's the two images.
Yeah, but
From the
not-
south,
It's just ones you've drawn, Lindsay.
Sirius and Regal. In the north, you've got Aldebaran and Betelgeuse.
Betelgeuse again.
Blue shifted.
Good.
In the south,
Mention
red shifted.
Your anus.
Very logical, easy to explain.
They're all what?
I'll do this for you to make it even easier. You're looking south, so you are only seeing that on your horizon. That's your horizon. Forget that. Here's your horizon looking south. And this is overhead, so you're really only seeing this part. That tucks back over your head. So there it is, folks. Now you need to share this. You need to start waking up the zombies.
Hey, people, come and watch this.
YouTube's not getting my information out there, so it's up to you people to share the truth.
What's up?
If you're waking up or have woken up, you need to wake up the rest of the zombies, because there's a movement. We're in the sign of Aquarius now, where everything will be exposed. There will be nothing hidden. All rocks will be overturned. The truth is coming out. You only have to look at TikTok. Everything's being exposed. The moon hoax.
Well, be careful, you get arrested for that.
Can't think of anything right now, but everything. The whole
Everything's
pandemic.
getting exposed, but I can't think
I
of
can't
anything.
think of anything. Plandemic.
What people can't touch on is the Zionists. The Zionists rule the world, right? They
No.
run
Oh,
America,
here we go.
and you can't criticise the Zionists. Well, that's like what we're told about communist countries. You can't go against the narrative, or you'll be locked up. Well, you can't talk about the Zionists.
Yes, you can.
Can't
Yes, you
expose
can.
their lies.
You're doing
Yes, you
it.
can.
You're
Go
doing
deep
it.
and find out how the hell do you gas 6 million people? Logically, use this side of your brain. Cannot be done, especially when there's nothing there to show any evidence. Okay, the buildings, graves, where are they? No, and it's been all scaled down now anyway. How did it get from here down to here? Think about it. It's time to wake up, people. Join my Patreon site. You get and join the community to understand all this truth, basically. Thanks for watching. Put a likes up. Don't forget to subscribe and share it. Cheers.
Yeah, no bingo today. No, I got bingo.
No, I didn't get
Yeah.
anywhere in the year.
I think I got three.
I've got 3 in a row, but I was waiting for Black Hole and Ether.
Yeah, didn't
I
get any of
disappeared
those.
for a while, so I have no clue what I had.
No, I don't think any of us got close.
I got Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, and Vortex. And two of them are on the same horizontal line.
Yeah.
Vortex, Truth, Meridian, Stars, Arc of Horizon, Orion's Belt.
Yeah. I
Oh,
didn't get any
was there truth? I missed truth.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
truth.
there's always Truth.
So it's
always
truth. The truth
Yeah,
is
he
out
said
there.
truth at the start. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. But no black hole is
But yeah,
today.
they weren't.
No black
Nowhere
hole.
near getting. Didn't even get a 4.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah,
That was a
keep
bit
so
sad.
nobody else is saying this. Yeah, that's good.
There is
Make
one.
That's why nobody else is
Although-
saying it.
there is one thing you have to give to Lindsay.
Yeah. What's that?
Unlike almost all the other flirts, he does have a model and he will present it.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's giving
Well, this
his,
is true.
he's giving his idea of evidence for why it is, not just saying nah to why the Earth is a sphere. So
Yeah, but
in
here's
that
the other
respect,
thing
you
though.
know,
But here's the other thing though. Unlike Unlove First, he won't answer questions.
no.
true.
At least a lot of the other flirts will attempt to answer questions at least, but he won't. On his own videos, he won't answer questions.
No. And his model is, although he has a model, it doesn't work. And his evidence is that I'm saying this and no one else is, so therefore it must be true.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still better than 98% of the other flirts, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
I
he's
suppose.
still a cheeker with the same arse, so you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be worse, because it could be this guy. Yeah.
It's worse than Lindsay.
Yeah.
What was this system of government instituted for?
Oh,
Oh,
God, no.
Dave.
I
Oh
always
God.
rather
Oh no.
naively
Oh
thought
no.
It was something
Do
like
we need
this,
Dave? The question
to
that's the
organise the
question,
people
do we
and keep the
need
country
Dave?
running.
It's Pissy
to
Dave.
The will of the people,
That's the one.
act
Yeah.
in the best interests of the people, and make the lives of the people better.
Remember,
But as it turns out, this is the definition from that search engine AI summarizer thing. The youth.
I summarise the thing. I think I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's it goes through how they.
It kind of
But
it kind of gives me the shivers a little bit. Well, not the shivers. It's a bit weird because he actually sounds exactly like my best mate at school. I mean, like almost an identical voice. And it's so strange, and it's kind of like makes me
93
cringe. Kind of like, oh, that can't be him. In my head, I'm going, no, it can't be him. Please don't let it be him, but it's not. 'Cause
And
my
it-
friend's
it's-
not black, so.
and it's got 70. It's got 70,000 subs. So.
Mm.
£50
I know.
a year out of your own pocket for the next 10, reported
So
by
you-
the Public Accounts Committee.
So you can go on about it. He goes on about it. Apparently he's
Didn't
Go
he lost a YouTube account at one point, didn't he, or something?
Oh, yeah,
somebody
probably.
somebody was telling me.
I think so. Yeah,
think he did.
most of them have it at one point.
They usually do. They
Yeah.
say some medical misinformation or spread something. Now, I believe his idea is that the way he will govern it, he will ask everybody. I don't know if this is it.
Or casualties. So, as leader, I would say to remember that legislation is not law. Acts.
Legislation.
What is it then? It was not law, you stupid man.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
of Parliament require your consent before they become law to you.
I think his idea, if I go into it, is that he will ask everybody, and everybody has to say yes before something can become law.
What he's confused.
Oh, yeah,
he
that'll
says
work.
that law requires consent before it comes law. Well, your consent was given when you voted the government at the time. You voted for your MP, so
Yeah.
therefore you've
Correct.
given consent. That is your consent. That's what he doesn't understand the democratic process.
Because that's argument
That's
is
the
to
whole
say
point
that
of it.
if you decide you don't like a law because it doesn't suit you, then you can say, "Oh, I don't give consent to that." No, that's going to
No,
work. Isn't it?
don't work like that either. No. Well, I mean,
don't
you
like
can.
the law that prevents me from stringing Dave up.
Therefore, I can just ignore it. I don't
So
consent to it.
We'll repeal and ignore that law. And hey, Dave, Come over here, mate. Got something for you.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
you just want, you know. I know Blue keeps saying this is a statement and not a challenge, but I mean, just how stupid can people be? Oh, look, here's allegedly Dave, drinker of piss, thinks we should abolish the government and replace it with nothing.
With Dave.
with
Because he
Dave.
wanted to get rid of taxes and everything, didn't he?
With
Okay, well, how do you
Dave,
pay
yeah.
for it? Just get rid of Dave.
What an embarrassment. This
That actual
so-called
thumbnail, it does say, don't vote, appoint Dave. Appoint him
Yes.
as what? What's he going to fucking do? Nothing.
Supreme leader.
Okay, don't, oh, I don't want any laws, don't want any taxes. Well, what are you going to do then? And what are you going to do it with? Because you won't have any money and nobody's going to listen to you because you've just said they don't have to.
Anyway, I've got Matt's favourite person.
Oh, there's lots of favourite people.
There you go.
Oh, no, no.
what an embarrassment.
Are we gonna have? Is this
So-called
gonna be Leo? Yes, it is.
NASA
Yeah.
and Intuitive Machines,
Oh,
same
bollocks.
company anyway. What an embarrassment this has been. But the embarrassment continues. Look.
Because you keep
I have a few
talking.
very fascinating images for you that I can talk through now if you look up at the teleprompter. This is a picture of Odie on the surface of the moon, touching down with its engine firing. You see here the landing gear piece is broken off there on the left of the image. The landing gear did what it was supposed to do and protect the lander as it landed on the surface.
So it did.
I hate to break it to you, mate, but the landing gear snapped, as you said there. Not that this is real anyway, but I'm entertaining your silly story in your image. The landing gear snapped, and this thing has fallen over on its side. So the landing gear
No, it
didn't
has-
do what it's supposed to do, did it? And this image isn't proof
No,
of
it hasn't
anything, mate, is
fallen
it?
on its side.
Other than the gullibility and the naivety of people like you who actually believe this.
The engine plume interaction with the surface gives us this excellent view of how the ejecta, the regolith, moves away from the plume interaction.
Mate, you really need to have a word with yourself. Get out, get some nice country walks, start centering up and realise this is absolute garbage.
There's scientific information in that data right there.
Oh, there's scientific information in this image that can't be tested and verified by anyone. Nah, mate.
Correct. Yes, it can.
Nah. There's a storyline attached to this image to get nerds like you salivating over silliness.
What you don't see in this picture is that our navigation system landed us with precision and landed us softly on the moon. The shock absorbers took the load, and the lander now tilted over gently, and we think it's about 30 degrees, and communicating all the way down to Earth. And I think Tim is...
Yeah, it crashed. It fell over, essentially.
No, it
The
didn't.
landing gear broke. It didn't do as it's supposed to. I can give you words out. And as a result of that, the storyline is this thing crashed. The prop crashed. They're giving you a storyline because they can't give you any imagery now. Not anything of any quality because they know they get exposed. All they're left with is a silly storyline that I predicted anyway in my previous video. And terrible imagery. The storyline gives them an excuse for the terrible imagery. And people will still try and defend this. Not many, I may add, but a few.
going to give you an estimate of how much data we've actually brought down.
Again, claiming that he's got data from this image. Again, if he gets a signal or whatever that supposedly comes from the moon, who's testing and verifying that? No one. How's this beneficial to anyone, these images in this storyline? It's not, is it? How was the original moon landing beneficial to anyone? It wasn't, was it? And you only got to look at Buzz Aldrin in recent years.
Lots of
He
things have
tells you
benefited
that
you, my
he
chum,
spells
including the
it out
device
for
you're
you.
using.
There's a little image in the center of the white patch on this. That's an American flag. I want to highlight that American flag was a donation by NASA and is from 1970 in the Apollo program. and it was a certified piece of
Oh, spare me the silly attachments to the daft original pantomime, will ya?
flight hardware. And we took that American flag and we proudly put it on Odysseus and carried.
Mate, you should be embarrassed by this, yeah? Of course, you've got more storyline to feed because, let's face it, this is boring, this is unconvincing, this is just as expected. Dear, oh dear.
To the moon, like it should have been done 52 years ago. So I'm really proud of that. Next picture. This picture shows the fisheye
Oh, this is incredible stuff. Incredible.
lens kind of view of, and all of the data that's within how we're able to give you the images we have.
Oh, this incredible data here before our very eyes gives us so much. So much.
Nothing you do.
Data's there in this wide-angle view.
Yeah, not yeah.
Oh, data-rich image here. Unbelievable.
Just
The
because you're
mockery
useless,
from these
don't
guys
know how to do it.
is off the charts. America should be enraged, going crazy by this stuff.
Do you want to do a Leo
How
bingo?
unconvincing, how
Yeah.
unhelpful,
I
how
don't think-
boring,
I
how
don't think I can do a Leo
expensive,
bingo.
how
Okay, so-
predictable. And the fact they're claiming this is a private company, but it's funded by NASA. So it's just lies from pantomime artists, NASA, desperately trying to save this space globe
2x2.
charade. Dying, folks.
2x2 quiz.
It's
Don't
dying. I think they're doing it on purpose as well. I think it's done slowly here, just to break people in slowly, progressively. Otherwise, these mainstream believers, if they were just told outright, a lot of them would just lose the plot overnight. Walk in the streets just talking gibberish to themselves. Bless them.
Next image. And here we are, how Odie conducted the brilliant 6-day mission on the surface. You see the gold foil blanket is the helium tank. You see that we're tilted over slightly, still more upright than we initially thought. We did.
So yeah, the landing gear failed. You tilted over, you banged on the floor.
No, it hasn't banged on the floor.
We captured
No.
data, and then we tilted over
You
slightly.
captured data. No, you sent back images that are ridiculous, mate, and then you're claiming you've got data from that and that you know what's going on. When
Yeah, well,
really,
there's
this
more
is
to data
just
than just images, you
pathetic.
prat.
Yes.
in about 2 seconds and came to rest either on the opposite helium tank or a computer shelf, and we're able to communicate. It also
Yeah, like I said, it crashed. The landing gear failed. You bigged it up and said it worked, it snapped, it failed. So you're even having to deviate from the original storyline to justify this silly pantomime and silly sci-fi charade to yourself and
I don't
others.
think they have
It's
deviated, have they?
ridiculous, mate. It's embarrassing. Even mainstream believers at work are laughing at how ridiculous this is.
6 payloads data back, plus all the commercial payloads, and continue to transmit as we go forward. Brilliant performance by a small lunar lander and a brilliant commercial company called Intuitive Machines. I have a few very...
There you go. There you have it. That's the latest breaking, hot off the press news, stroke imagery, stroke storyline, stroke pantomime from NASA. And it's embarrassing. But it's obvious that they're basically shutting this charade down now. And they've done so in an embarrassing fashion. I suspect there'll be a little bit more storyline to come. Oh, the battery found a bit of energy. We took some more images of some dirt with this GoPro, which will satisfy the nerds. But like I said, even people at work now are starting to question this and laughing at this. And as a result of this, questioning the bigger picture, which is great. But this has been cited as a huge success, yet it's embarrassing.
Yes, it's embarrassing for you.
So,
Before the internet,
so
one
I can
platform was.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, so
You're right.
so I can summarize his whole script in that video into 1 word and 2 syllables, or was it just 2 syllables? I'm not sure. Maybe it's 2 words. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. That's it. That's what it sums up to do. It's just nuh-uh. It's just him like saying, "Oh look, it looks ridiculous," blah 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 blah. That's it. There's nothing else. I mean, I would respect him if he kind of a little bit more, if he would actually come up and say, "Well, this is impossible because of X X X X X X X." Analyze the photo a little bit more and say why he thinks it's nonsense. But he's got none of that. It's just him pointing it, as he always does, and pointing it and go, "Look, it's stupid."
Yes.
Is it?
That's all he says, yeah.
Yeah, that's every single video. And that's why, you know, I stopped a long time ago debunking Ava's videos because it was pointless, because that's all it is. There's nothing to debunk. It's just him saying, "Nuh-uh."
And he needs to
and
expand
anyway,
his vocabulary a bit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he uses the same sentences, the same sound bites all the time. Yeah.
Video after video after video. It's just him saying the same things. I can't think of anybody. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, so the Lando's actually completed all of its mission. Everything that it was supposed to do is completed. And I suppose you might say it's kind of lucky because it didn't fall over on its side completely. One of the landing gear collapsed, and as it said in the conference that you could hear, was that it tilted over 30 degrees. It didn't completely fall over. There's some speculation whether it's actually leaning up against a rock or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. But luckily, it wasn't enough to actually put a stop to the mission. So all of its science it deployed, and everything it was supposed to do, it did. There was a bit of a rush to doing it because the communication was a little bit sporadic for whatever reason. Not sure why. But apart from that, it did everything it was supposed to do. Then, of course, he thinks the only data that is the data that was shown is just 3 or 4 photographs. They've probably got hundreds, if not thousands, of images, plus all the data from all the site. There's all sorts of different scientific instruments on board, all kinds.
Problem is, you can't really show telemetry, can you?
No.
No,
exactly.
to see photos, but that's the tip of the iceberg.
Also, I mean, it could have put one of those landing pads down on a rock and been over at 30 degrees without breaking anything, couldn't it?
Right. Yeah, true.
That doesn't need much to tip a tall thing like that over by 30 degrees.
No,
it's not a whole lot. It's a bit. The center of gravity is a bit high, but there's a good reason for that. Unfortunately, they're using cryogenic fuels. So, of course, cryogenic fuels, as you know, the oxygenator and the fuel burns at different rates. So, of course, that's going to shift your center of balance. So it needs to be, the tanks need to be on top of each other. That's why it's tall. Why they chose cryogenic fuels and not hypergolic, I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's the reason for that. Is of course then all the instrumentation and the engine and all the rest of it to go with it. Yeah, it's a bit of a tall thing. But I mean, if they had switched on the system that able to navigate them to the moon's surface, which was granted, it was a bit of a cock up. They should have switched it on before it even lifted off, and they didn't. So they got around it, though. I mean, still engineering. They found a way around it, and they used other instruments to actually give them the altimetry data that they wanted, but it wasn't entirely accurate. So it was actually the lander was actually lower. I think somebody said it was like 100 meters lower than it should have been. So hence the reason why it still had a bit of lateral velocity, and that's why one of the legs dug into the lunar surface and broke it. That's the reason behind it. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't quite fall over 30 degrees, so it still managed to complete its mission, and it did. And it's asleep at the moment because obviously it's the southern pole. It's on the lunar night at the moment, so hopefully it'll wake up again and they'll be able to do some more. But I don't know yet. We'll see. But there's more similar ones to come. It's all part of the commercial lunar package. I don't know. I can't remember what you call it now. Commercial lunar payload delivery systems. There's a whole load of companies that are going to be doing some. So over the next year, you're going to see at least 6 more.
Okay, so more to come. But yeah,
Oh yeah, plenty. Yeah, plenty more.
A lot more missions coming up.
Well, actually, there's been 2 because one failed. It didn't make it to the moon, did it? So that was another one. So at least 4 more, I think.
Yeah. I have to. Could be. No delay. G'day, Blue. How you going? I saw you sneak in there.
Oh, hello, Blue.
Hey, good morning.
I got some
Hey.
blue. Good timing, blue.
What's up?
The sky.
The price of diesel.
The blood pressure when you watch Flurf.
Price of heat and gas. That's very up at the moment.
No, diesel's gone up because I filled the car up again yesterday. I thought, fuck me, not again.
Oh, gone up again, is it? Jeez.
Yeah. Oh no! No!
No. Yeah.
Is it Bev? Is it?
It's Bev. I'm about to play your video.
Your favourite person, Farmer's Boy. Your favourite person.
Lovely, I don't know.
You had to do it.
Oh, that guy's such an arsehole.
Some reason it's not going back. Hang on.
Anyway, the one that doesn't belong is the one that's a moon.
Right.
Yeah. That's no moon.
Well, that one is,
Space
but
station.
yeah, no, that's no moon.
Ganymede.
Ganymede.
Major Orion.
Ganymede's one of that's Jovian, isn't it?
Indeed.
I can't see
a photograph of it.
Cassiopeia.
I've actually got a photograph of it without a telescope.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. We don't hear anything. Is there a video supposed to be playing?
I haven't played it yet. I haven't started. So, just promoting Blue's latest video. We're not going to play the whole thing. It goes for an hour. But, yeah.
Thank God for that. It's far too much.
So, if you do watch the first bit, where Blue has a nice little bit of explaining how nautical miles work. And then, later on, you get to hear her a little bit. I think this is the right bit. Hang on, let's see.
Easy, right? Well, so we can simply say that
sped up a little bit.
The angle radian subtends a distance or an arc of 57 degrees. And now, if we know the actual radius of the circle, we can figure out what that actual distance is. Simple geometry.
Sorry, it's a little bit quiet.
You ain't saying much, J-Ro. Come on.
What do you want me to say?
I want to hear what you think. Where am I wrong?
On principle, you're not.
Okay.
On principle.
I just wanted to see if you could figure out where 1145 comes from.
Yeah, I showed it to you.
No, mathematically.
I did. I gave it to you.
No.
That particular version of it, and bear in mind that you can get a number of different measurements that are within a few hundredths of a foot. And it all depends, obviously, on which Earth radius you choose. But the Earth generally is accepted to have a minimum radius, a polar radius of 3,950 miles, and an equatorial radius of 3,963 miles. Now take 3,963, multiply that by 5,280, divide that by 360, and then by 3,600, you'll come up with 101.45. That's where it comes from.
That's not.
No,
you won't,
knucklehead. You tell me where it comes from.
Gotta multiply by 2.5.
Oh, I get it.
Have you got it in Lindsay speed?
Publication like that.
Yeah, I sped it up.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk about it, Blue, because I suggest you watch the whole thing, but it's an hour, so we won't play it. Just
yeah, if you don't watch the first part of it, none of this is going to make any sense. So.
Yeah. So the first bit, you go through explanation of what a nautical mile is, how it was derived, and then you put it to the two Bevites. They're not very picky on it. So yes, I recommend anyone watch the whole thing. Go for it.
No, you don't want to watch all of it.
Oh, why not? Go on. Give Blue the likes. Give him the.
No.
Push up the algorithm. Why not? But yes, I did catch bits of it. Bev doesn't help much when he tries to answer some questions. Surprise, surprise.
Does he ever? Yeah.
He talks about, you get that over land, and you're trying to say no to that. And our radians are not. Radians are a measure of angle, not a measure of distance.
So, somehow they get it in their mind that, because it says nautical mile, you couldn't measure one if you're over land. Huh? Don't know why.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Isn't a nautical mile based on is it 1 minute of latitude or something? Have I got that right? Nautical
It's an
mile?
arc minute of anything.
Arc minute of anything, right?
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, that
make any
makes
difference.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But that one arc minute would occur on any sphere. It wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
One you can hold in your hand, or one the size of Jupiter. You can still have an arc minute subtending a distance across the surface of the thing. It only becomes the length of a nautical mile when you tie it to some unit of measure, like a meter, for instance.
All right. So somehow to him, it's if it's not over land, that it doesn't apply, right? Okay.
Well, it can't be because it's not nautical.
Yeah, to make navigation easy, they wanted they like the idea of an arc minute being equal to a nautical mile, because that's the way we calibrate things like sextants,
Right.
And if you take 90 degrees of angle times 60 minutes in a degree, that's 5,400 arc minutes. So from horizontal to vertical is 5,400 arc minutes. And if you already picked out a length for the meter to be 1/10 millionth of the distance from the North Pole to the equator, bingo. The nautical mile has to be 1,851.85 meters. That's it. That's where it came from.
Yep.
Nice and neat.
That is. So you've been spending. No. I was going to say you've been spending a bit of time over on Bivs lately. A lot of time than you had recently.
Yeah.
So, but you're not getting any more sense out of it.
Hell no.
I didn't think so. So, I got to ask Paul, do you have a hard quiz tonight?
I don't have a hard quiz tonight. I have an easy quiz.
I was going to say, do you have an easy quiz?
Oh, really? Really? Really?
I do.
I do. Won't get any right this week then.
In fact, are we ready to share it?
How about I do the usual? I'll play an
Hold on a bit.
I'll play an Everett,
Sure.
and then we might do that. I did have.
No worries.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's very easy for somebody with an IQ like you.
No, Matt. In fact, I've titled it the "It Doesn't Get Much Easier Than This" quiz.
Oh damn! I'm off.
42, Fleetwood Mac, and.
Okay, here.
I want to talk about flat Earth. I've been thinking about flat Earth for a long time. I just recently joined the club, probably like a month ago.
Please don't do that. Don't think about it. Please don't.
Dr. Montgomery. Please, we need your help up in here. Dr. Montgomery.
And I just want to ask a question. Why won't they let us go over the ice wall?
We had that idea years ago. How come we never did anything with it? Probably because we left the diagram of it in the restaurant and none of us wanted to walk back.
Hey, do you think it's a slave planet that we're living on? I mean, that's the only thing that seems logical to me.
You are no longer welcome in my home.
What exactly are you implying? Get out!
B, do you think that a certain group of people actually gets to go over the ice wall or through the ice wall?
How did you get up there?
I fell.
And do the majority of you believe in a flat, larger Earth or just larger Earth in general? I mean, look at this. This is blowing my bitch ass mind. I love it. Love it.
And you're a
Yeah, fan on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simmer down now.
Cause how in the fuck do they expect us to believe NASA, the great deceiver? It makes more sense that they would want to keep us within an ice wall. Straight fact.
Have you people lost your senses? Do you hear yourselves?
Do you believe in the larger flat Earth or the Nos Confunden? Oh my god, that shit is interesting. I mean...
Keep it down. Now.
Okay, so now I'm trying to understand the concept of this, and maybe I need to find the right video or get pointed in the right direction. Okay, so if we're... Let me move my... Look, right there, okay?
Oh, I see.
And you hold the map at a level surface, and then you raise some of them up like they're in the water, okay? But they're still under their own little bubble or whatever. Is that how we're able to see them with a telescope?
Just give me a second.
Like, maybe am I not saying it right? Okay, so like if you were to like lift the lands of Mars up a little higher in the, you know, in the water. I don't know. I just need somebody to help me.
Has this ever happened to you?
From today, dialing 999 won't get you the emergency services.
0118 999 8819
Oh, remember this one.
9119 7253.
This makes more sense than leaving on a rocket ship to go off of a flying rock. And you know what I'm saying? It almost puts NASA to shame in my mind.
People call me stupid.
Yeah.
Not just people. Haven't you seen the way the dog looks at you?
And you remember that time your sea monkey spelled moron?
There you go. Okay.
It's when you have what happens when you get trailer truck trash with no teeth thinking about flat Earth, and this is the result. Yeah. Sorry, did I just say that out loud? Damn it.
You did, yes.
I shouldn't express my thoughts. I shouldn't express my thoughts.
Oh, dear.
Okay, whenever you're ready for.
Righto. Let me share it. Host.
Oh,
Disabled
okay.
participant screen sharing.
Yeah, I did. I said, Paul's about to do this, so it's a good time to disable screen share. I thought it was the perfect time to do that. It should be right now.
Yeah. I've got to pick the right screen. I think
It's always helpful.
that one. Is that sharing properly?
I think something's coming up.
Yes.
I don't know. Just leave it on for a bit longer. It might pop up in a second. Thank you.
What might pop up in it?
I think he was hoping it was pop out. Pop out was the word he was looking for.
Say no more. Yeah, that was the word. No, still haven't got it. No, sorry, no. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Righto. Okay. The easy quiz for tonight, yeah. In
Okay.
this film, a montage of scenes at a breakfast table reveals the breakdown of the main character's marriage. What film is this?
It's not American Beauty, is it?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Is it a Bruce?
I think of that.
I think I know it is.
Get
Is it a
another
Bruce?
clue, yeah?
Is it a Bruce Willis film?
No.
No. Okay. it's not what I'm
In
thinking
this
of.
film, which opens with a shot of a no trespassing sign, the main character is sent his neglected declaration of principles by a man he justified.
That's not ringing any bells.
No.
Not Finding
Oh,
Nemo.
I like it, Clive. Yeah, Finding Nemo. Yeah.
Not Finding Nemo. Okay.
Yeah, it's not ringing any bells.
No,
In this film, a Chicago opera house is built for the main character's second wife, Susan.
Oh, now that kind of rings a bell. But I still don't know though.
Chicago.
I've got a funny feeling I haven't seen this film.
Susan.
It's not.
Its main character, who drops a snow globe when he dies.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know what it is now.
Based partly on William Randolph Hearst.
Oh no, it's not what I was thinking then.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it for the Peanuts. Will get it straight away now. Yeah.
The Peanuts have got it, yeah. Name this film, directed by and starring Orson Welles, whose title character's last word is Rosebud.
Rosebud. Do you know, I've never seen that film. Never seen it.
No, I haven't either. I've heard about it.
So you don't
It's
know
got
what
all the appeal of a dead dog.
So you don't know what Rosebud is then?
Yep, spooky bed hair.
Yeah,
Well
I know
done.
what Rosebud. I know about the film. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same. I know about it. I don't never.
I've watched it once. I just Anyway, a long time ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, question 2. This
Spooky
type
got it.
of interaction was first proposed in a 1920 paper by Latimer and Rodebush.
Type of interaction.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. The presence of this type of interaction is preferred in E2 and SN2, but not in E1 and SN1 reactions. Protein secondary structure involves this type of interaction between different atoms in the amide backbone.
I get the feeling it's chemical.
In ice, this type of interaction is important in determining the crystal structure formed. It also causes water to have a high boiling point.
To related something. No idea.
Name this interaction that requires both a donor and acceptor of the namesake simplest element.
Is this something to do with? Is this something to do with crystals or something? Well, yeah, because it says to the crystallite structure. No, forget it. I just said that.
Get that one. Yeah.
Pointing out the obvious. Oh, is it something to do with the bonding of?
Oh, no, that's out of the thing.
Out of the thing.
That's how it takes over.
Clive Wells has got it.
Bonds.
Well done, Clive. It is hydrogen bonding. Yeah, hydrogen bonds. Yeah.
Okay. No. Wouldn't have got that one.
Okay, question 3, which I think will go off pretty quickly. This royal was almost killed by a grenade thrown by a Korean dissident during the Sakuradaman incident.
Oh.
I saw grenades and thought Archduke Ferdinand, but no.
He advised his nation to begin enduring the unendurable after surrendering on behalf of his nation in the dual voice
Japanese.
radio broadcast.
Is it Japanese?
Emperor Hirohito.
Hirohito. Yeah, that's the guy I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
Wrong
It wasn't.
Emperor
It wasn't.
Clive.
It wasn't Hirohito himself. I don't think it was. Oh, I don't know. Some high-ranking official.
No, it was Hirohito.
Japan.
It was Hirohito.
Oh, was
yeah.
it? Oh, was.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. This regent led a country during the Mukden incident, which served as a pretext for his nation's invasion of Manchuria.
Which was the Manchurian incident.
A picture of this man, also known as Showa, shows him next to Douglas MacArthur after renouncing his divinity.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not a god after all.
No.
Yeah. Named as Emperor of Japan during World War II, it was indeed Hirohito. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hirohito. Yeah.
Only the true Messiah can renounce his divinity.
Okay. Question 4. This concept can be described using the A series or the B series and JME.
You guys can't hear me.
Aren't we?
I can hear you.
Oops.
I was joking, by the way.
McTaggart argued against the A series description of it in a paper titled The Unreality of This Concept.
I thought the A series was a Merc. And the B
And
series.
there's a B series of British Motor Corporation engine.
Yeah.
Martin Heidegger argued that all of Western philosophy since Plato had incorrectly conceived of this concept as the opposite of being. Not vacuum, no.
Sounds like something philosophical, like I don't know.
Mm.
Oh yeah, well you've got it here. The realistic philosophical viewpoint. Sorry.
Yeah, the realist philosophical viewpoint sees this concept as a dimension in which things occur in sequence.
Oh dear.
I don't hold with
Your
philosophy.
mum.
Your mum.
No, time is an illusion.
Yeah. Name this concept that is described in language using tense and that is often contrasted with space. In one novel, this character dies on a trip to England that he undertakes with Susan Barton.
Who?
In another novel, he helps to fight off a group of wolves after he discovers that his Brazilian plantation has made him wealthy.
Sorry, guys, I disappeared for it. Keep going.
Noddy.
Noddy and Biggie.
In that novel, a Portuguese captain rescues this man and his slave Zuri from Moorish pirates. Not Biggles, no.
No.
Not Jay and Truth either. This character, an old man in J.M. Coetzee's Foe, appears in another novel in which he rescues a man from cannibals, teaches him English, and names him Friday.
Oh,
That
it's
should
Robinson
give it away.
Crusoe. Robinson
That's
Crusoe.
the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's who I
Well,
thought
they
it
got
was.
that from the others.
On the second,
Yeah.
on the third one, I thought it was that. But yeah.
Yeah. Name this shipwrecked sailor the title character of a novel by Daniel Defoe. It is indeed Robinson Crusoe.
Crusoe.
Yeah.
I think Nerd Alert I think Nerd Alert might have got there before me. I think.
No,
Yes.
I don't think he did.
Didn't he?
It was a close
Okay.
thing.
No.
It was a close thing.
Okay, question 6. In this novel, a character repeatedly claims, "I will work harder," as he is constructing a windmill.
That's Windy Miller, the early years.
Is it? I wondered if it was Man of La Mancha. But anyway, again.
Nope, it's not that.
No.
In this work, there is only one
Animal
casualty
Farm.
when Mr. Pilkington's and Mr. Frederick's men are led by Mr. Jones in the Battle of the Cowshed.
Clive beat me to it,
that
but
rings bells.
Clive beat me to it, but yeah, Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Animal Farm, yeah, that's it.
Is correct.
That's it.
Well done. Yeah.
Uh,
Minimus writes the national anthem of this novel's title location to replace the song taught by Old Major. Yeah.
Old Major, yeah. I would have got it
Yeah.
on that one, I think.
Among Squealer's rules in this novel is whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I like this one. I like this one though too. Like,
oh yeah.
Napoleon and Snowball sell boxer to a glue factory. In what George Orwell novel? Many characters in which are pigs and horses.
Yeah.
But I like this.
Some
All animals are equal, but some
then-
animals are more equal than
than
others.
others. Yeah, they added that on the last line partway through the book.
Yeah.
It started with the first line. Yeah.
Yeah. Animal Farm was correct. Well done, Clive. Question 7.
Yeah, it's a good novel.
Though not pendulums, a dynamical system of 2 of these machines in which one mass is free to swing in a plane and a larger mass moves only up and down exhibits chaotic or complex harmonic motion.
It would.
They're not pendulums, though.
No. Governors of some sort.
In a system of 2 of these machines, for 2 masses x and y, the acceleration experienced by both masses is x minus y over x plus y all times little g.
Not a clue.
An Atwood machine has 2 ideal frictionless examples of these machines, which are connected in a block and tackle.
Rings a vague bell. I can't think what it's called.
Name these machines exemplified by a wheel around which a rope moves.
Pulley.
Pulleys.
Pulley
yes.
system.
Oh,
Yeah.
pulley system.
Pulleys, yeah. Question 8. A formula that generates these numbers subtracts one exponential term from another and divides the result by square root of 5. I reckon Clive might get this one pretty fast. Binet's formula gives a closed form expression for these numbers, which were first conceptualized to calculate the number of rabbits produced each month given an initial pair.
There we go. Yeah. Well, Clive's got an answer it there, which makes sense. So did Nerd Alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
Nerd Alert got it
got
first, I
correct
think.
first. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Considered successively, the limits of the ratio of these numbers is equal to phi, the golden ratio. Yeah. Name these numbers formed by summing the previous 2 terms in a namesake sequence that starts 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. They are indeed the Fibonacci numbers. Yeah.
Cute little gif.
That little gif is disturbing to me. I don't know why, but it just is.
Why do you find that disturbing?
I don't know. It's just in my mind. It's kind of like I don't like that. Stop.
Oh,
Weird.
dear. What kind of a mind
find that
have you
weird.
got?
I don't know. I think if you took away the dog's body, I probably wouldn't bother me. But I don't know. I just don't like it.
There you go.
Expect something.
That's it for you.
I think Matt's thinking something's going to come over the backside in a minute or something.
Question 9. You can act like this man even if you don't have Elvis's blue suede shoes, according to the Jonas Brothers song Heart and Soul. Who?
Ooh. I don't know that song well enough.
Taboo says that all these girls call him this by this man's name in The Dirty Bit by the Black Eyed Peas.
No.
Not Lindsay Harris. A song to name for this man begins, just shoot for the stars if it feels right. Not Joe.
Not Joe.
Keisha's magnum opus declares that she will kick men to the curb unless they look like this guy.
Adonis? Or...
Is it Mick Jagger?
It
Mick Jagger.
is Mick Jagger. Well done.
Get in.
See? Name this man whose moves title a Maroon 5 song, a Rolling Stone frontman whose name conveniently rhymes with swagger. It is indeed.
Must have got it from that.
Yeah.
My God, how old is that?
Jagger.
Ooh, that's an old picture. There's no wrinkles on that face.
No. All right. Question 10.
Would have given us a very different Johnny Depp character.
A molecule with a dipole will have a potential energy equal to the negative dot product of this quantity and the dipole moment.
I'll take your word for that.
Resistivity is equal to this quantity divided by the current density.
Is it Mick Jagger? No, I'm joking.
It's not Mick Jagger. Its total flux through any closed surface is proportional to the charge enclosed and is given by Gauss's law.
It's electrics. I don't do electrics.
Faraday's law states that a change in magnetic flux will create this field.
Field?
I think Clive Wells did it.
Yeah, Clive Wells got it long ago. I was just hoping somebody else would say it.
No. An electric field.
Yeah, the Poynting vector is proportional to the cross product of this field with the magnetic field. Name this field that surrounds charged particles. It is, of course, the electric field.
Well done. There you go.
There you go. And that was your quiz for today. There you go, Matt. You got some questions right. It wasn't that hard.
Thanks, there, Matt.
2. Got 2. Out of 10.
Well, some would consider that a good score, Matt.
Well, thanks for that. What have we got to move on with? Let's put up a flat Earth test. Oh no, maybe flat Earth truth. What about flat Earth truth? There you go. Let's bring some dirt back to the equation.
I've got an idea for a quiz, Timbo, where I show a calculation using just numbers, without any units or anything, and you've got to tell me what I'm actually calculating.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to put that one together.
I might do that for next week.
Well, I've got to hope with that one.
Okay. Let's see what Mr. Flat Earth Truth has got. This one's a bit obscure. Took me a little while. Yes. Yeah. Oh, internet doesn't want to play it.
Got good taste.
Refresh it.
Yeah, let me try again. No, I started to play it and said, no, no more. No more. I don't want to do it. No, we'll find something else. Oh, P-brain.
Sometimes that can be an indication that your broadband is starting to go.
Could be. I've still got an excellent connection on the. Hold on, let's try another one. Okay.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on with your internet?
Let me try something else here. I'll start a new browser. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, it could be.
Because it started to play.
Okay, I wanted to show you guys this. I happened to catch this. I saw a plane go overhead, and it was about, when I looked up, it was about halfway up in the sky, and I was like, oh, it's a nice.
Okay, now it's working. That is it. Let me get back to. I closed down the other things.
Can you turn it off Lindsay speed though? Because
yeah.
Lindsay, but
No, I had just run it over into that browser.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so give me a sec, because it's not very long. Playback speed back to normal speed. Start it again. Yeah, this is the one I was going to play. Not sure. Hang on. Not sure this is what I was going to play. Oh, this is the pre-brain one. Yes, it was a pointless one. Let me try this flat out test again.
Using the same method of measuring angles and distances, I measured the relative height of a 100-foot tall ship as she sailed or motored from my left to my right in a nearly straight line. So that's what this white line along here is. If you can see my mouse, that's the ship. That's the ship's path. It was this big ship called the Overseas Boston. I think it was a tanker, an oil tanker, and it's 100 feet tall. And I measured all these red lines represent the angles that I measured the vertical angle at. So I measured the vertical angle, and from the distance and the angle, I calculated, and this was at only like the line.
So with the distance and the angle, I calculate. Well, it wasn't really that far, but it was about 6 miles.
Past 6 miles from me. So this wasn't even all that far. This isn't like any 100-mile shots or anything. And this blue line here, you can see, is the measured angle difference between myself and the ship as it passed along in this straight path. Now, if it had been passing along on a flat surface, it should have remained the same relative height the whole time, because if it's on a flat plane and it's not changing height of itself, of course it's not, then it should have been a straight line across here. But as you can see, it formed a curve.
So congratulations to Jesse Gordon for measuring the hump. So he's claiming that we see these ships.
Oh, shut up.
And we measure them doing a curve. Okay, well, I don't think he thought that one through. You'd have consequences. And airplanes and helicopters would also curve measurably.
Yes.
So they would measurably have to tilt their nose down.
No.
Also, if we're looking way out the distance to try and measure spherical excess, then as we got higher, then the angle would increase, as demonstrated by the red lines. But that is not reality.
Angle's not increasing, you idiot.
What an idiot. And if it did, we would put this debate to rest a long time ago just by measuring points in a distance and then higher elevations above the points. Measure the angles, but like I said, the angles do not increase with elevation as they would have to on a globe.
No, they don't. What an idiot.
Oh, Brian, come on, man.
Using the same method.
Jeez.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Yes.
How high do you have to go to make them 90 degrees?
A long way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is it? Why is it every Brian I seem to know? I don't know what it is. Throughout my entire life, it's every Brian that I've known have been dumb as bricks. I really don't understand why. Brian Mabbott, this Brian, other Brians I've known been dumb. What is it about Brian? Please explain it to me.
It's the way they spell their name. The ones that spell it Bryan are pretty intelligent.
Yeah, true. That's probably You're probably right.
I've met at least one pretty bright Brian, but
yeah, they're not all.
Yeah, I think of one.
No, but if
not
there's
a huge popular name anymore, is it?
No, I was going to say if these Bryans get out further, I think it'll become less popular. It's a bit like how there's been no girls named Karen for the last 5 years, apparently, or something like
that. Yeah, you wonder why, yeah.
Yeah. And Nerd Alert, let's be a little careful about casting dispersions at Nathan's. My son-in-law is a Nathan, and he's not a flat earther.
Yeah. No, you can't assign everything to it, but yes, I do understand there is a bit more of an extra Brian than there should be. Okay.
I'm Brian, and so's my wife.
So's my wife.
Oh, Brian, that's a good one.
We're all Brian.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty.
Yeah, we do actually have a Brian soon.
Yeah, we do have Brian. We'll take that one down. No, it's not me. I'm not Brian. I was just joking.
Release Brian.
Release Wodger.
Wodger.
Wadwick. Or Wadwick.
Wadwick. Now, this was a bit derpy. It took me a while to work out what they're, what I think he was on about, but okay.
Oh, right. Okay. True.
Oh, yeah.
2 minute, 1 man leave.
Oh, I know where this is going. I know where this is going. I've seen other videos similar to this.
I love that shot.
Oh, it is the same video. Yeah.
We're inside the cooling tower at the Satsop nuclear power facility, which never went online. This is where the steam that's produced by the facility would be released and cool as it goes up. Because of the shape of the surfaces and because they're hard and reflective, we get an echo, a very severe echo. We're still trying to understand it ourselves. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. Hey! Everybody calm down. This is not fun. When you make a sound and a surface is far enough away that it returns that sound to you such that you hear it as a distinct occurrence. You hear it as a separate event. Hey! It's amazing.
At 1, but basketball at 4. Yo! That sounds insane. Echo! What the f? Right, balloons. Let's do it. Three, 2, 1. That sounds f***ed.
Come on, get to it.
We can't really hear it, can we? Yeah.
Get to it,
No.
get to it. Come on, here we go.
really hear it on Zoom, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, sorry about the sound, but yeah.
Yeah, they can hear out there, though. So.
Basically, he says because that sounds the same, it must be. We must be under a
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes the thunder.
So therefore, we must be in a dome.
And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so.
So he's somehow trying to suggest that that's proof, because thunder sounds similar to that echo sound.
So they can't get their head around the fact that sound can actually bounce off the layers of the atmosphere. You know, it's impossible to do that, but as we know, it does.
Well, the question is, what makes the sound in the first place? There's someone up there popping.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, nor in fact that cooling tower has got a great big hole in the top. You know, just ignore that.
It's not, and it's not a dome either.
Yeah.
No. Well, they imagine that's what they're up to. Who else we got? We got Banjo. Let's play Banjo.
Not to say he didn't understand how cooling towers work, but hey.
Yeah, I don't think he was quite right about the cooling towers. Not quite right, was it?
No. Yeah, you don't just release steam into a cooling tower.
No.
Yeah.
I have to say I have no idea how a cooling tower works, but mostly because it's something I've never looked into.
Most of those traditional types of that type of cooling tower relies on a natural air movement through it, and that cool air passes over the pipes that have got hot water in it, and it cools it down.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is just dumping steam into the atmosphere, because that's just the whole point of using steam is the steam. When the steam releases its heat, it becomes condensate. It becomes water, saturated water. And then you're trying to cool it down even further. You don't actually get rid of the medium you're using, because that's extremely wasteful.
So in other words, it's a giant heat exchanger, essentially, or radio, wherever you want to call it.
Yes, the shape of that tower is made in such a way that encourages airflow through it, and it's the air flowing over the pipes that cools down the water that's inside them.
Right. Yeah.
But of course, also in this day and age, when we're trying to make everything as efficient as possible, that heat that you're just losing to the atmosphere could be used elsewhere. So these days, you try to recover heat and use it for a heating process somewhere.
Energy recovery here.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Which is why we see places, the cooling towers are now coming down and they're being demolished, and because they're a better way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Is that why they're being pulled down? So yeah, you just answered what I was just about to ask.
Because it's hugely wasteful in terms of energy. You could be using, instead of just getting rid of that heat, you can be using that heat for something else.
Yeah, because in the past, my closest relationship to cooling towers is driving past the ones near Mansfield on the A1.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it seems kind of a shame to knock those structures down, because they're kind of an interesting structure, but I don't know what you use them for. That's the only thing. But it's kind of like, I hate seeing buildings come down. Yeah.
Well, like in that video, inside that cooling tower, there was nothing. All the equipment had been taken away. It was just a dirt floor, and all that's left is the tower. You're right. They are interesting structures, and yeah, I think sometimes it's a bit of a shame that cooling towers and chimneys and things have to be brought down, but eventually somebody's going to want to reuse that land for something else, and can't really use a cooling tower, we'll blow it up, you know.
Yeah. Also, I guess keeping them safe costs a shit ton of money.
Well, I suppose there's that as well, because they
put something like that up, some idiot wants to climb it. Yeah,
true.
Yeah, not so many what's his faces left, are there? Oh God, what was his name? The steeplejack guy.
Yeah.
It's Fred Dibner.
Fred Dibner, that's it.
Yeah.
And Blaster Bates, but he was even an earlier time. He was 50s and 60s. Blaster Bates.
Yeah.
Very funny chap.
I once knew
famous...
someone so moronically stupid that they put a evaporative air conditioning unit on the back of a trailer, filled it up with hot water, and parked it in the middle of their engineering shed, closed all the doors and set it running, thinking that it would cool down their workshop. The reason that they filled it with hot water was their thinking was, well, it takes less energy to evaporate hot water, so it should be more efficient.
Oh, God.
I just hurts thinking about it.
And then he wondered why all the steel supplies in his workshop started to rust.
Yeah. Covered in moisture.
Yeah.
Oh, what a silly person.
Dear me.
Let's find some other silly person. Okay, let's play this one.
Part
He
10.
did only go to
The
year 8
sun
level of high
in
school.
Antarctica. In the previous video, we discussed this time lapse. It shows 24-hour daylight in Antarctica. A lot of people have been saying that this is impossible, so let's keep researching this. This video is made by NWO.NL. New World Order? NWO receives 400 million euros a year from the government. NWO promotes scientific research at Dutch universities. Can we trust this? It's almost winter solstice for the southern hemisphere. 4 more days, June 21st. That means Antarctica has no sunlight at the moment. So I had to look at different webcams all over Antarctica. All the screenshots are taken at the same moment, unless stated otherwise. Location: New Mare Station. Location: Halley Station. Location: Palmer Station. Location: Scott Base. Location: McCurdo Station.
Calling McMurdo.
Location: Casey Station. Location: Casey Station 3 hours later. Location: Dave's Station.
Keep saying location.
Location: Mosul Station.
It'd be nice if you actually had timestamps on the images.
Location: Marston Station 3 hours later. Location: Mosul Station 4 hours later. Looks like we failed again to debunk the flat earth. Did we debunk the globe model even more? Do your own research. Thanks for watching.
Can I just point out how good this guy is at researching? At the start, this was coming from NWO.NL, so the .NL means it's from the Netherlands.
Yes, which is the
The
other.
NWO is the Netherlands Organisation for Scientific Research. But he just sees that and thinks, "Oh, New World Order? No, it's Dutch. You idiot." The Dutch Research Council.
And some of those stations are obviously closer to the pole than others. Like I know, for instance, Casey Station and Davis Station, they're right on the edge. They got quite a lot. They're a long way from the actual pole.
And this
I
image,
noticed the sunrise to sunset length was like what, an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This image taken 2015.
Well, don't forget
This
that some
image
people in the world that
2015.
think
Do you do it all?
Don't forget
the
there's
same?
some people in the world that.
Go
Don't
on.
forget there's some people in the world that think Tasmania is just next to Antarctica. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
I mean, for instance, like Casey Station, which I've been there twice, right? That only has 24-hour sunlight for about 3 weeks in the summer. So it's not like it's 6 months of full sunlight there.
Yeah.
It's quite a distance from the pole, and it only has
Yeah.
about 3 weeks of 24-hour sunlight, and only then
I think they
because of
forget just how
refraction.
big Antarctica is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to get a map of those stations because he's just pointing dots on his image, but yeah, not on actual Antarctic image, which would be more interesting to see. I notice they're also 2015 too, which is a bit odd that he's taking images so long ago. Not that I think that's a problem, but just a bit weird.
So he's disproved nothing and proved nothing.
No.
Correct.
As usual, I might do a little bit more research on that one, just out of interest. Well, let's listen to something. I thought I had a tune. Maybe I don't. How about a woofie?
A woofie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a bit of Wolfie for a while.
I haven't seen woofie for a while. Let's see what he had to say.
So as you can see, I'm currently in New York, and there's the city skyline on the other side of the Hudson River. I hope everybody is doing well. I just wanted to make a quick video giving a shout out to Rachie. Now Rachie was a flat earther, and she was genuinely just seeking the truth. She did her homework, she did her research, and she now understands the Earth is not flat. She knows the Earth is a globe, and she's now doing a great job of correcting the mistakes other flat earthers are still making. Well done, Rachie. Please head over to her channel. I'll post a link in the description below, and congratulate her on being honest enough to accept the truth. And by the way, I'm still waiting for any flat earther willing to face me in a live debate on flight planning. I keep asking, but they just keep running away. Anyway, it's getting close to dinner time, and I found just the spot. It has my name written all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for Rachie because she came in asking questions and she was so nearly there, and then she made the mistake of starting to listen to Riley.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Do you not remember?
Down the garden path for quite some time, I think.
Yeah. Do you not remember quite a while back? I think we had a discussion. It might have been when we were still on Terry's, I think, possibly, and we were talking about which flat earthers do you think could possibly switch over to the globe, and I think Rachie was one of them. Pretty sure Rachie was one
because
of them.
When she first started doing videos, you could see she was understanding and asking genuine questions, and it was, do I go left or do I go right? And right was Riley, and she was totally suckered in by Riley, I think, and that's what led her down the wrong path for quite some time, and quite how or why she suddenly thought, hang on a minute, this is all bollocks. I don't know what that moment was, but
I think it's an old adage, isn't it?
Great joy in ripping Flatsoid a new one.
Yeah, I think it's a great adage though that the people that are usually the most influential, the people that shout the loudest. And with Riley's case, Riley was spending a lot of time with Rachie. He spent a lot of time talking to her, a lot of time. So, you know, there's bound to be an influence, isn't there? You know what I mean? So
there is, of course, allegedly another reason for that.
Well, you could allege that, yeah.
Just about every female in the flat Earth movement in the UK has suffered Riley's attentions in one way, shape, or form.
Well, okay, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
That woman who was part of the Sun and Moon family or whatever, she put up some videos complaining about him because he's. No, I won't say what I'm thinking, but there is a common link when it involves Riley and women, I'm afraid. I suspect that's what that was.
I just have to ask, why do I have 60% no and 40% to my poll question? That worries me.
Really?
Yeah, that worries me.
That's given our audience, that's shocking.
Yeah. Matt, the question is, the fifth consonant in this sentence is an I. Is that true or false?
Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, the question is, the fifth consonant in this sentence is an I. Is that true or
Yes
false?
or no?
Yes or no?
Consonant.
Consonant.
You could say it like that, Timbo.
I mean, like yes or no. I mean, that makes no sense. Let me just read it. If you can.
Yeah, read the question and see what your answer is.
The fifth consonant is an I. I would say no then.
Why would you say no, Matt?
Yeah.
I don't. Fifth consonant. I'm not getting it. I'm really not
What
getting
a consonant.
What are the vowels, man?
Oh, A-E-I-O-U, yeah.
Yeah. So is the fifth consonant in that sentence?
Oh,
the letter.
Of course it's not. No, of course it's not. I'm sorry.
Of course it's not, because the I isn't the consonant.
Yes, I realise that now. I know.
Counting the letters to go. Well, hang on a minute.
That's what you get for not actually reading the whole thing. That's what you get.
It's like one of those papers that they set people that get. They ask the very first point. It says at the top is, before you do anything, read all the questions.
The questions.
Because the very last question out of 20, where they've asked you to do this and do that and stand up and wave your hand, the last question is, ignore all the previous questions. Just sit still and be patient.
Yeah. Get up and leave.
You soon find out who hasn't actually read the paper properly. And they all go, oh, standing up and waving their hands and doing all sorts of stupid things. Yeah, you have to read it.
Read all the questions.
That's what you get.
Paper.
That's what you get.
Okay. Yes. I've got I haven't played Volley for a while. This is about 12 minutes, so.
Oh yes, he's just done one, hasn't he?
Yeah, let's put this one up.
That's a very dodgy pasting of Rachel's face on whoever that was, because there's a big.
G'day everybody, Wally here. Hey, Flatzoid really annoyed me the other day when he was talking to Luch, but
yeah.
When I went to make a video, I found that Rachel had already done it for me, and she did such a good job. You know what? I'm just going to steal the whole thing. Rachel, you've done an amazing job here. So if anyone hasn't subscribed to Rachel already, please do. She's really going after these guys. Anyway, sit back and enjoy this mirror of Rachel asking all the questions that I wanted to ask. And she beat me to it.
First, something for Flatzoid to think about. The distance between any two places along the equator between two longitudes is longer than north or south of the equator between the same longitudes. Why is that, Flatzoid?
Okay, let's put it this way. If I had to take a pillowcase and I started shoving feathers into it, you would agree the more feathers I'm shoving into that pillow, the heavier it's going to get.
Yeah, it would have to be a lot, but yes, it would get heavier.
So more substance, there's more stuff in the pillowcase to make it heavier.
That's more, yeah.
Okay. And because it's heavier, would it require more force for me to pick that pillowcase up now that it's full of feathers, where before I fold it up, it would take less force to pick it up?
It would require more force, yes, it would.
Great. So you would agree I use the force to accelerate that pillow when I picked it up?
Yeah.
And?
Your gravity is saying there is no force. The pillow just picks it up on its own.
No.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I've heard this before and it still doesn't
Your
make any sense.
gravity is saying there is no force. The pillow just picks it up on its own.
No.
Oh dear.
But now the
I
issue
got that
comes in,
voice,
are you
man.
claiming gas has weight?
Of
course it has weight.
Of course it has weight.
Got mass.
Wait, yeah.
How would you know gas has weight?
Scuba tanks weigh
Wouldn't it
more
have-
when they're full of gas.
Wouldn't
Okay,
it have to be
so-
static,
I've seen this.
to be able to weigh it?
Scuba tanks weigh more when they're full. You know, of
Yeah, but that's
oxygen.
contained. You have to calculate the weight
No, we can measure it.
then, but you can't weigh gas on its own, can you? It's unbonded.
You can weigh it in a container.
I'd say probably not.
Yeah.
She just put the container on a
Luke,
scale.
do you know what happens to gas when it's compressed?
Scuba divers are all the time. That's what they do to check how much air is in there to calculate it. They
changes
weigh it.
phases. It's no longer a gas.
He was talking about scuba tanks. Fatsoid, is air in scuba tanks still a gas? Why did you let this non sequitur and deflection
better
occur
be.
when you know the truth?
And then
Yeah, I put in my
bottles
my paintball gun.
when
It's
they
still a
fill up that
gas.
gas canister, what happens
It's not
with
4,500
pressure
psi.
Yes. Better be.
if you compress gas? It becomes liquid, correct?
Yeah.
Is liquid denser than air?
Yeah, some gas does. At some point, it will become liquid. Yeah.
Not all gas, though.
Not all gas, but yeah.
And scuba tanks don't.
Not in a 300 bar air tank.
Sometimes.
Great.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've
my air
ever
bottle
taken a
don't
gas canister after it's filled up, a scuba tank, and shook it. You can actually hear out go shoo, shoo, shoo.
So I made a comment about it for him,
Oh,
and he read it
dear.
and approved it. Wow, didn't see that coming, did he? And now that Fatsoid has confirmed that mass is added, and that mass is air, and that air is in vapor phase, as you cannot compress air into a liquid at room temperature. It needs to be cooled way below the critical temperature for oxygen and nitrogen.
When you're compressing it, it's no longer a gas when you do that, right?
What?
I'd imagine it would be, wouldn't it?
No.
No?
Like okay, for example, propane. Why do they call it liquid propane? It's a gas. How is it liquid?
Oh, dear.
It's because it's compressed.
Butane compressed is liquid. Yeah.
By proxy, by default, when you're bringing up a
You guys using
I
the word
ta-
that's
I,
understandable.
a container, as you're putting it,
Mm-hmm.
with gas in to weigh it, you are by default conceding then gas requires containment to be able to exist as pressure.
It will. The argument was gas having weight, which it does.
But if it had weight, would you need a closed container?
To be able to measure it properly, yeah. I'd imagine.
So why would you need a closed container if gas had weight being pulled down by gravity, especially if it's claimed to be stronger, closer to the Earth?
Yeah, why'd you have tyres on your car?
Like, it's very
Why isn't the
hard
weight
to
why isn't the air just sticking to your wheel?
weigh gas
Yeah.
when it's not in a container.
Yeah, because gas requires containment. That's the whole argument.
No.
It doesn't.
Yes.
So let's get this straight. You can weigh gas, but it needs to be in a closed container. You claim a closed container, therefore gas still has weight. Even according to your own bullshit.
Okay, I found the video. I'm going to quickly show it to you. And I want you to listen quickly. What is being said, okay?
Okay.
So the pressurized atmosphere is kept there by gravity, as I said multiple times. So
Hi, I'm Emerald Robinson, and in this What Is video, we're going to investigate the state of matter called a gas. Gases are materials that have no definite volume and no specific shape.
your whole idea of, oh, Mark has no answer. I do have an answer. Atmosphere is kept there by gravity.
Third, gases can flow from one area to another, although the direction of flow is not directly affected by gravity.
Atmosphere is kept there by gravity.
Although the direction of flow is not directly affected by gravity. Although the direction of flow is not directly affected by gravity.
Did you hear that? What did he say about the direction of flow affected by gravity, Luch?
It's not affected by gravity?
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird.
Fluids, liquids and gases. Liquids and gases are called fluids because they can be made to flow or move. In any fluid, the molecules themselves are in constant random motion, colliding with each other and the walls of any container. So in any fluid, that would be liquids too, the molecules themselves are in constant random motion. So what? They don't have weight either. They're not affected by gravity either.
Wind is gas. Did you know that? Just moving gas.
Well, wind is like... What is wind? Do you know what causes
Moving gas.
Yeah, it's just high pressure moving to low pressure, isn't it?
High pressure moving to low pressure is wind. Absolutely. So if we have high pressure down here and low pressure up there, why do we not have a constant upwards wind? Why is the high pressure down here not moving to the low pressure up there? Perhaps there is something that is stopping that in the vertical direction.
Gases have no definite volume. What do you need to have mass?
Gravity?
Hang on, let's address that. Gases do have mass. We agreed on that before.
Was Flatsoy just about to say that gas doesn't have mass and Sleeping Warrior had to correct him?
You don't have any acceleration due to gravity, right? Gravity is not a force, and even if it was, gas molecules are not affected by it. So you can't satisfy, by mathematical application, you can't satisfy the definition for weight.
Since when do flat earthers care about maths?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's going to consist on what size container you got and how much of that substance you're putting in there.
So if I was to weigh water or any other liquid, depending on the size of the container and how much substance I put in there, also depends on what weight it is. So your point for gas doesn't hold flats.
So that's why I say it's volumetric weight. It's not gas weight.
Volumetric
weight. What? What did he just say? Oh God.
Yeah. Apart from in your special pleadings example where you believe that the Earth exists in a vacuum but doesn't press into it, with the exception of that special pleadings fallacy, gas always presses into
Well, actually, we say low pressure system.
Yeah, which is what wind is. We see that all the time.
Yet we don't see wind in the upwards direction all the time. And yet it's high pressure down here and low pressure up there. So it's not special
Flatsoy's under
pleading,
pressure.
is it?
Look at him. Look at him struggling.
We don't
Yeah.
say vacuum,
Dressing.
we say a low pressure system.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's an unbalanced force.
That's smug grin.
Like relative density disequilibrium.
Yeah, well, relative density doesn't really have a vector.
Yes, it does. Relative density disequilibrium does have a vector. You know if it's going up or down. Definitely.
No.
Yes.
Yet when you have a container with a liquid in, and say 2 solids in, say one less dense than the medium and one more dense than the medium, and you let it go as one was rising and one was sinking, they stay in the exact same place, don't they, Flatsoid? What happened to that, whether it's going up or down vector within the bottle, within its relative density disequilibrium? Oh, right, it's falling, right? So therefore it doesn't count for some magical reason because it's accelerating, and for some reason impulse, right? And, you know, the net force is then 0, right? Because relative density disequilibrium is somehow negated and the net force is 0 because it's accelerating. Yet if we do the exact same thing but accelerate it upwards, the relative density disequilibrium, the more dense down the less dense up, still works, doesn't it? So why doesn't it in the downwards direction, Flatsoid?
In 1982, there was one SAT question that every single student got wrong.
Did they? Okay. There you go. That was an abrupt end, but okay. The end.
Crash stop.
Yes.
I mean, they just need to watch some scuba divers working. You know, they weigh their scuba tanks to check to see whether they're full or not, because they know, you know, depending on what size tank they've got, they know how much it's going to weigh when it's full. They know exactly how much it's going to weigh, so that's what they do. They weigh them all the time.
Oh yeah.
So why they can't get their heads around it?
But the thing is, he's trying to argue, oh, maybe it changes state. But okay, let's say it changes state. Where does the weight come from? How does it suddenly weigh more? Because it's changed state.
Changing the state doesn't suddenly increase mass.
No, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'd do it with the air bottles for my paintballing, but they're so bloody small. I think my scales have struggled and noticed the difference anyway. They're only 1.1 litres. But I tell you what, with air compressed to 4,500 psi, which my bottles can take, we generally do it at 3,000. There's no sloshing in there. it's still
not.
the gas.
Yeah. I mean, one reason to put gases that will go into the liquid phase at room temperature is because the vapor pressure at the top remains constant throughout the use of the gas in the bottle. So you don't need fancy, complicated regulators to keep the same gas pressure flowing through stuff.
Yes. Yes, they're mixing up different things there too. And that took flow. It was a bit all over the place.
Yeah, well, it's only because they're clueless. They ain't got. And then you hear Riley chipping in as if he's the font of all knowledge.
Yeah.
And all he's going on about again is definitions, because that's how we do science, isn't it? By definition.
Yeah, definition. Yeah.
He ain't got a clue what he's talking about. He's made that perfectly clear right from day one. He's technically illiterate. He ain't got a bloody clue, but he'll argue definitions until the cows come home. I mean, the guy's an idiot.
I've always wondered, they keep on claiming that things fall because they're more dense than the air that surrounds them, right? So air apparently has a density, which you calculate by mass over the volume, but it doesn't have any mass.
Yeah,
Paul doesn't have any weight.
Don't have any weight.
Oh, that's right. Weight. Yeah, they talk weight, not mass.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, if the wind, which is just the air, which is a gas, is really, really strong, it can knock you off your feet. But how can it do that if it's got no weight? If it's got no mass, how can it do that?
What forces
How can it
apply?
move things, blow trees and all the rest of it if there's no mass and no weight there?
It's a magical force like magnetism, obviously. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the movement of air. Yeah, it's not the movement of air at all. What's going on? Okay. Well, I thought we'd play this little bit of tune as it's an anniversary one. Okay.
Happy 2-year birthday to the $10,000 Flat Earth Celestial Navigation Challenge.
2 years ago, I issued this challenge to flat earthers to do celestial navigation without using the globe. And I did this because Nathan Oakley, a flat earther who does a daily show called the Flat Earth Debate, where ironically, he never allows anybody to debate. Well, anyway, he said this.
The sextant only works on a flat plane.
A sextant is the tool that you often use to measure the angles to stars when you're doing celestial navigation. Now, he went on with somebody else on his panel to say this outrageous claim.
Well, the proof of the flat plane would be that you arrive at your destination, right?
Yeah. The fact that
the
it
proof
works
part.
when it's utilizing a flat surface. You use it, you get where you're going. You don't have to introduce a sphere and a chord line. Quite the contrary, if you did, you wouldn't get the straight line to measure the angle, to have a flat baseline, to triangulate, to reach your destination. It must be flat for this to work.
With such a bold proclamation, you would completely expect that they have done celestial navigation using flat Earth, using triangulation, as he said, and using a flat baseline, as he said. So they would definitely jump on the challenge that I issued 2 years ago, but they haven't. Now, I have done celestial navigation. There's no triangulation. There's no flat baseline. What he described is not how I do celestial navigation, not how anybody does celestial navigation that I know of. So what is he talking about? Well, certainly he must be talking about something that he has done, but he clearly has not. I'll give you a brief overview of how celestial navigation is actually done. You measure an angle to a star between the star and the horizon using a sextant. Now, because you're somewhere above the surface of the globe, there's a dip angle that you need to adjust for, so you subtract the dip angle from that measurement. Then you subtract that from 90, and that gives you your zenith departure angle. And that's the important angle because that tells you how far away you are from the GP of the star. The GP of the star is the point on the surface of the Earth directly below that star. Now, the locations of all the GPs of all the stars that we need for celestial navigation are documented in nautical almanacs. These are published every year with the positions of the stars plotted out for each day. This matters because stars move throughout the year. They are always shifting over time, and you need to know what time it is when you take the measurement because then that tells you what position the star was at that moment. So you use that, you draw a circle of equal altitude, and altitude means angular altitude. And that circle is everywhere on that circle, every observer would see the same angle to the star. And you know then that you're somewhere on that circle. When you do it for a second star, you get two circles and they overlap in two spots. You know then that you're at one of those two locations. And if one of them is on land or you know you're somewhere near a particular location, then you can isolate where you are. But you can get the point where you are on the surface of the Earth with three unambiguously. So you get 3 star angle measurements and you know precisely where you are according to the precision of your measurement. Now, when you do it according to how Nathan Oakley says it, well, I don't know how you would do that. It doesn't work. It's not how it's done. So flat earthers haven't done it. They talk big, but they haven't done it. And this $10,000 is still sitting there waiting. But now this is great. Recently, another flat earther, Austin Whitsitt, made this even bolder proclamation.
I think the best argument that MC Toon has is celestial navigation on a globe. Falls right in line with this whole like, oh, the sun can't be here on a flat Earth. So the whole 1 degree per 69 miles. That's McToon's best argument for sure. And unfortunately for all the Globers, we've actually completely mapped out celestial navigation and all the exact math that works and matches reality perfectly on the entire Earth at any location, including any position of the stars, the sun, and or the moon based on your geographic position. So it's going to be a rough next couple weeks and following year for you guys because we literally have the exact perfect math to explain all of it.
That's right. Austin Whitsitt, flat earther, says that he can explain all of it for any point on the surface of the Earth. He can do celestial navigation using flat earth. They've mapped it all out, he says. Well, of course, this is all bluster. He can't. I know he can't. He can't do math. I know he can't do math. There are ways that he might be thinking of, but they're called a coordinate transform or projection, which just is a way of admitting that the Earth is a globe. Now, promptly after this, he challenged me to a debate on celestial navigation, which of course I accepted. So now a debate on celestial navigation is simple. You do celestial navigation. There's no talking back and forth. There's no arguing. There's no your turn to talk. Here are star angle measurements. Go. So I accepted. I said, let's do it. I'm ready to do it on Modern Day Debate. And I posted on Facebook the challenge. He's been silent on Facebook. I don't know why, but here's the schedule. This is what it will be. Just simple. I will give star angle measurements, and then he goes through the process. Take all the time you need to go through the process. I'll just watch. And then when you're done, hey, you get it right, and then you can give me some star angle measurements. I'll go through the process too, but you go first, right? Because there's no challenge about whether or not globe earthers can do it. We do it all the time. There's books about it. We got a book right here. Uses the globe, right? Goes through the whole process. That's how I learned. It's not that hard. Anyway, Austin, I look forward to this debate. Now, if you don't accept the debate, that's you acknowledging that the Earth is a globe. If you do a coordinate transform or a projection in there, that's you admitting that the Earth is a globe. If all you want to do is argue about stuff instead of action, that's you admitting that the Earth is a globe. You see, I'm a man of action. I can do celestial navigation. Austin Whitsitt is all about bluster and crying and whining and a whole bunch of word salad. But never, never action. So this is it, Austin. Everybody, you can find Austin on Facebook, on Telegram, on YouTube, and Discord, where he's flapping his face all the time, spewing his word salad, but never doing action. So please take this video, send it to him, tell him, I'm ready. Let's have that debate. You get to show how to do celestial navigation. You said you mapped it out. You said you could do it. You claimed it was going to be a bad couple weeks for us. Well, time to put your words into action.
We finally got the long-awaited update from space.
I'll stop that automatic play.
Never going to.
Never. Nah, I agree with you. Not going to happen.
No, because like MC2 said, you know, if you claim you've got all this and you've got all these measurements, then there is no debate. You just go here, and there's no way Witch is ever going to do that because he hasn't got anything.
No, that's right.
It's never going to happen.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, right? I don't know how a sextant works. Okay, I don't really understand celestial navigation very much because, quite honestly, I'm not interested in it. It doesn't really fascinate me. It doesn't do anything. But the one thing that does, like, for me, is probably the fact that the sextant, for me, is probably the strongest evidence for a globe. You know, and then the fact that not one single flat earther has been able to rise to that challenge and do what McToon is actually asking to do must speak volumes. Must do for people that are genuinely seeking the truth. If they expect to do that, it must speak volumes. Must say, hang on a minute, why hasn't a single flat earther ever done it yet? Why? You know, and that's really it has to speak volumes to a lot of people. It's got to, surely. You know, but I mean,
they tend not to think like that, do they?
No, which tells me that these so-called truth seekers that know about this challenge are not truth seekers at all. They're not interested in the truth. They're just auto hoaxers. They just want to see a hoax, and that's it. End of. Period. You know, it's like Pete Shea. He's a self-confessed auto hoaxer, but he claims that he's a He's a truth seeker. How can he possibly be a truth seeker if he auto hoaxes everything? It's not compatible.
He's seeking his truth.
His truth, exactly.
His truth. Yeah. That's a new
Not the
saying.
truth. Don't be absurd. They don't want the truth. They want their truth.
Yeah. So for me, sextant, without a shadow of a doubt, without even knowing how one really works. I mean, I suppose I should look into it and figure out how it works. Without even knowing how it works, the fact that this challenge hasn't been met is, for me, is the strongest evidence for a globe, personally.
Well, they're not overly complicated. They're just ways of measuring an angle.
Yeah, it's just knowing what to do, isn't it? Really, that's all it is. And if I sat down and figured it out, I probably could. But it just doesn't interest me, to be honest. And that's why I don't really enter into conversations about using the sextant, because I don't know anything about it, and I don't make any claims to, and never will.
In theory, you could do the same thing with a plumb bob and a protractor. But the sextant.
I'm sure you probably could, yeah.
The sextant is much easier.
I'm sure you could.
Much more accurate way of measuring the angle. Yeah, okay. Well, I did do a little quiz. It's not a very, very long quiz. Just on math memes that I happened to come across.
Math memes.
Math memes.
Oh, I like laughing at memes. I like memes.
So
I got the first three of the streaming services, but I didn't get the last two.
No, I couldn't see what the last two.
Hang on, there we go. Let's switch back to that one. So you're trying to work out the last two.
Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus.
And then I got stuck.
Hang on, I'll have to cheat.
Netflix and Disney Plus, the only ones I Netflix and Disney Plus, the only ones I've got really. Didn't
Well, HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, I don't. Yeah, and the other one I've never heard of, Peacock.
No, never heard of
that. No, me neither.
I mean, I'm familiar with HBO Max, but I didn't know HBO Max was a streaming service.
No.
Yeah, I think that's basically aimed at the US, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. I didn't know those other ones.
To get using a them services that everybody likes to advertise on their YouTube videos.
Yes, a lot of those. But okay, back to my little thing. Okay, here you go. The math memes. 90%.
Yeah,
get it wrong.
It's easy to get these wrong. It's always bound to be one or two that you miss.
So, have a go. Have a count. I can see one. Obviously, 1, 2, 3. Let's start off here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, right? And then the bigger ones. 4, 5, 6.
I'm going to say 6.
7, 8.
I've got at least 11.
9, 10.
Oh, 7.
11,
I see 7.
12.
I'm up to 11, but I've lost track.
Yeah.
I only see 7. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, no,
there's
there's
another one there.
8.
There's much more than that.
9.
You
8.
think, hang on, did I count that one already?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, if I counted that one, and when you start to get to about 8 or 9, it gets a bit more difficult, doesn't it? Because you think, hang on a minute, have I counted that one or not?
Yeah.
8. I've only got to 8 so far.
Well, yeah. So once you get to about 13, then you've got to include the bigger ones, and then variations.
If you use the entire one, yeah, I got 13.
Yeah.
Then you got that one. Then you've got this one.
We can't see your cursor, by the way.
Oh, can't you? No, you can't. Okay, sorry about that. Okay.
No.
It's more than 13. Why?
Another one there. Oh, seeing another one, that's 10. I've only got to 10 so far.
Okay, here you go. The answer is 24 plus the word triangles equals 25.
Triangle.
I only got to 10.
Yeah, and there you go. This is for those that were trying to work them out. The big.
Oh yeah, those.
Yes.
Those,
yes, I missed a whole load.
There's some in the middle there I didn't spot. Yeah.
Yes. So there you go.
Yeah, that one across the middle is like sort of 2 and 1 in there. So yeah, missed those as well. And that one at the bottom. Oh God, yeah, tons.
Yeah.
The official answer was 24, but I'm looking at it thinking, well, you got to include the word triangles, particularly as they made it red. Okay, how many triangles can you pick up? So apart from the triangles, there's triangles as well. Okay. There you go. This is not an answer, but see if you get it. What's the spec?
Don't ask me, please don't.
I think Paul will get it.
Yeah, that's it's the equation for the horns.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So when y is constant, a straight line, that's the first one. Horizontal straight line. Y equals x squared is a parabola, so this is the next one. Y equals x cubed is that shape, and then y equals cos x. So there you go. Sorry, I'm just imagining trying to teach maths to Gary Wabinga.
Has somebody got a TV in the background or something? I can hear a TV in the background. Somebody.
It'd be blue. Okay. Work this one out. Is that correct? This was a bit of a viral internet meme. Is 7 the correct answer? Well, sorry, is that the correct answer?
I don't think so.
Well, what do you think it should be? What do you think it should be?
105?
105. Why is that?
Well, I'm just trying to remember the order in which you do things, and I'm sure you do the multiplication.
Multiplication first, yes. Usually do multiplication first, yeah.
So that's 182 times a half.
So I'm going to ask, Blue, you there, or Paul? Do you think that is the correct answer? Gone silence. Hey, Paul. Paul, you awake? No.
Sorry, I had my muted. If you're going to try and claim that the answer is 7 factorial or something, that's nonsense too.
7 double factorial? But apparently 7 double factorial is taking the next number, not the first number. So 7 times 5 times 3 times 1 equals 105. That's the meme anyway. Yeah. So 7 double factorial supposedly is 105.
I think they're just making up some weird maths there. That's not real maths.
No, it was on Reddit. It was on the factorial Reddit one. So anyway,
you really need to go to better subreddits than that.
Yeah. It's nothing I'd never seen before. But anyway. There you go. This is just a quickie.
I've seen that one before. Yeah.
That's good.
I like that one. That's good. That's good. I like this one too.
Yeah, square root, yeah.
Oh, was that it? Surely not. Must have been. I thought I had a couple more in there. I did.
Is that all of them?
No, I didn't start at the beginning for some reason.
Apple pie,
of course.
Yeah. Apple pie. That's a pie. I think they should sell those in the shops.
What was it? Was it Nathan Thompson could quote pi to 100 digits, but he couldn't actually tell you what pi was. You remember that?
Yeah. Boss bouncing a ping pong ball on a ball on a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Really useful life skills.
And I think it was Brenda that pushed him, wasn't it? Brenda said, she said, well, what is pi? And you know what pi is, Brenda. Yeah. Come on, what is pi? And he wouldn't answer.
No.
Yeah, because he didn't.
Because he doesn't know what it is. No.
Well, didn't know what it was. Just a number. I did hear a good insult the other day was that you're all the numbers after 3.14 that no one knows what it is about. One insult somebody.
There's the Isaac Newton School in Norwich.
Yeah.
And I saw one of the students waiting for the bus coming home, and she had a bag, and it had a picture of an apple on it that was made up of digits of pi.
Oh, okay, cool. Apple pie. Good one. What else? I think I might only have one more. Hang on. Okay, here you go. You got to move only one match to fix this equation.
Well, it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You take one of the matches away from the plus sign to make it a minus, and you move it over to say -2.
Where do you move it to?
That's it.
In front of the 2, so 5 minus 7 equals -2.
Oh,
Just take one of the matches from the plus sign and put it across the equals.
Yeah, the plus sign. You turn the plus sign into a minus sign.
Paul's got it.
Yeah. Take the vertical of the plus sign and put it across the equals. So 5 minus 7 does not equal 2.
Yeah, or
that's true.
7.
Yeah.
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 Yep. There's a couple of answers there. There we go. I think that might be back to when. Oh no, here we go. Do you get that one? You get that one, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tangent, isn't it?
Yeah,
sine, cosine.
Sine over cot. Yeah, it's tan.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that one.
Back to that one. There we go. As I said, it was only short. Didn't have a lot in there. No, look, don't have any objections. It's just late. Apparently it's asked. So, now that Shadow Falcon, it was whether... Hang on. That was the question. Do you believe that there's such a thing as double factorial 7? Which I don't know if it's called double factorial, but anyway. Which is meant to be that. Anyway, move on. Just coming to a close. What else have I got? I've got a Mr. Keegan. Haven't heard from Dave for a long time. Let's play an Everett.
Yes, good stuff.
Yeah, might just play an Everett in between now. I think I've got a couple we haven't done. Up. Hang on. Yeah. Try again. There we go.
This guy.
Does anyone care to explain how I'm building a structure that's over a mile long, okay, and yet they're using lasers and levels, and this structure is completely level?
All right. Let me paint a picture for you. Just close your eyes. Okay, imagine with your eyes open.
But so after a mile, you should have to compensate on this ground that you're excavating.
I can sense the slightest human suffering. Are you sensing anything right now?
To be able to account for the 8 inches per mile squared. So, but it's not 8 inches below on the other end. literally pouring these footers for the columns at the same height, all the way down, over a mile. It's not 8 inches. I took a tape measure to it myself.
Okay, Al, I've got the end of the tape. Now, how far to the edge?
4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. So, can somebody please explain that? If we live on a curved, rotating ball, please.
Talk to your
It's
surveyors,
definitely
I'll
flat,
tell you.
people. Let's just call it what it is. Flat Earth. Flat, infinite plane.
Oh,
Don't you
I
think I'd
think
love to be
the
deceitful and
note on
pleasant
this
and
one saying,
offensive?
does he have to be
Those
big?
are the human qualities I admire the most. I just can't do it. I can't.
Look, what's this?
No.
What is it?
Please.
Come on, what is it?
It's a small off-duty Czechoslovakian traffic warden.
Some people don't like to explore
Oh,
with their
they
mind.
go.
They just like to be told what to believe and what to think. I am not one of those people.
It was the one question today to which I could give a clear, simple, straightforward, honest answer.
Yes. Unfortunately, although the answer was indeed clear, simple, and straightforward, there is some difficulty in justifiably assigning to it the fourth of the epithets you applied to the statement.
This is a concrete pad. This is
such a
a
good
column
series.
footer. The thing about building is, it has to be perfectly level, flat, square, and plumb. Just like here. You see it.
Why are you talking? Every time you talk, you only prove why you shouldn't.
The person who measured all this and drove the kicker stakes and the form in the ground had to use a laser level.
Begin laser ignition sequence.
Begin laser ignition!
And he put it on this corner, and from here all the way down, completely flat, level, straight, plumb.
I think that warrants 2 hours of W-O-O.
What's WOO?
You had to ask. Without oxygen.
See how this one matches that one? You could do it with a string, and it would still give you a perfectly flat, straight, square line.
I'm right here, Jefferson!
For some reason, people just still don't believe. Even the water in the concrete knows to be perfectly flat and level.
And our next and most thickly frosted cake is for Kevin.
Yes. Wait, why?
Go ahead and just read the frosting.
Get out?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
It's a colloquial way of saying you're fired, Kevin, which you are.
Poor thing, yes. Well, that's a bit of a...
Was he?
Yes.
Was he really fired?
Oh, no, probably not.
All right, so I am a PhD student.
Oh, stop it. Where's auto?
You've got it on automatic play, haven't you?
I do somewhere, yeah. I think it's somewhere under here. Where is it? No, it's not that one. Is it that one? It's one of these ones. Auto play.
Yeah, it's that thing there.
Yeah.
But
it's that button there. I must
you had it
have
off,
clicked-
didn't you?
I must have clicked it.
Yeah.
It's now off. I must have accidentally clicked it at some stage.
No, it's off now.
Yeah, it's off now. What was I going to play? I was going to put on a Dave. I haven't played Dave for a long time. Mr. Keegan.
Dave Double Decks.
Double Deck. Come
I
on.
like this guy though. It's just some good video.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Not
How
that
are
one.
you?
Well, Dave.
You don't like Dave?
No, I do. That's not what I meant. Dave's good. Yeah, Dave's good.
That Dave's fine. It was the Dave we had earlier that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I hope you're doing well, and thanks for joining us for another video. Recently, I was made aware of claims made by taboo conspiracies about the German Knickerbein system used in World War II. Knickerbein was a method of radio navigation that was used by German bombers to achieve a higher degree of bombing accuracy, especially at night when they couldn't actually see their targets. Taboo argues this system could not have possibly have worked on a globe, and so therefore the Earth must be flat. So in this video, we'll cover how the Knickerbein system actually worked and why I would argue that not only is Taboo being quite disingenuous with how he's portraying his claims, but that Knickerbein really does more to prove the globe than disprove it. Now, I'm sure there'll be people commenting asking, why am I wasting my time arguing about this? Simply because I find it interesting. Now, I have quite an avid interest in military history, particularly around the World Wars, and I was already familiar with the existence of Knickerbein beforehand, but this has pushed me to research it deeper and come away with more knowledge on the subject, and I enjoy learning new things. It's why my streak of using Brilliant.org is now up to 330 consecutive days.
Fast forward.
Sorry, you didn't hear me there, but yes, I was just saying how my version of Brilliant I haven't had to pay for.
Yeah, you're still going on. You're still going on by 1 month.
Yeah, it's still going on your 1 month free.
Oh wow!
So I think it's nearly 4 months now. So anyway, I think I've skipped through enough.
Goodbye.
British intelligence, led by R.V. Jones, slowly became aware that such bombing beams may have existed, and presented the information to Frederick Lindemann, Winston Churchill's leading science advisor. But Lindemann and others said such a targeting system would be impossible, because the supposed curvature of the Earth would block the high-frequency beams, because VHF waves do not even allegedly bend around the curvature of the Earth.
Dr. Jones took the message to Professor Lindemann, his old tutor and now scientific advisor to Winston Churchill, and tried to persuade him of the serious threat posed by the Knickerbein beams. But Lindemann was not convinced, pointing out that at the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of the Earth would prevent its being directed against targets in Britain.
The first of these Knickerbein transmitters was set up on Stolberg Hill near Denmark. Stolberg Hill was located 443 miles away from Derby, England. The hill was only 142 feet high, and the transmitter was 152 feet high for a combined height of 294 feet. Based on the globe math, the Earth's curvature would hide 118,425 feet. In other words, under the globe, a German bomber would need to be higher than 118,425 feet to be within the line of sight of the Knickerbein system.
First thing we need to address is Taboo's statements around radio waves not bending. Whenever a wave passes by an obstacle, it diffracts. This is where the wave path radiates out more. There is not an on-off switch with this. Waves don't either diffract or not. Any electromagnetic wave can diffract when traveling between different density mediums. However, the amount of diffraction varies depending on the wavelength and the medium in question, with diffraction reducing as wavelength reduces. So higher frequency equals less diffraction, lower frequency equals more diffraction. It's why you can listen to radio stations in your car even when there is a hill between you and the transmitter, because the radio waves can diffract around the hill. And it's why it is harder to get a good TV signal versus a good radio signal when there are obstacles between you and the transmitter, because the TV signals run on a higher frequency and so don't diffract as much. Taboo alludes to VHF radio waves not bending.
VHF waves do not even allegedly bend around the curvature of the Earth.
Except VHF, or very high frequency radio, is a band of frequencies between 30 to 300 megahertz. That's quite a broad range, and in fact Knickerbein operated on between 30 to 33 megahertz, so right down at the lower frequency end with the longest wavelengths. For reference, commercial FM radio usually sits between 87.5 megahertz to 108, and yet they can easily diffract. So, a radio signal on a globe that's being transmitted beyond the horizon, as it passes the horizon, that is essentially an obstacle, and the signal will diffract slightly, meaning a receiver wouldn't necessarily need to have direct line of sight with the transmitter to actually pick the signal up. Taboo also includes a clip from a documentary that talks about this.
Dr. Jones took the message to Professor Lindemann, his old tutor and now scientific advisor to Winston Churchill, and tried to persuade him of the serious threat posed by the Knickerbein beams. But Lindemann was not convinced, pointing out that at the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of the Earth would prevent its being directed against targets in Britain.
This clip appears to be from a video called The Secret War, which I'll link below, and this is where I feel Taboo is being a bit misleading with his claims. The section he's chosen to include uses Lindemann's initial objection to Knickerbein, which states, quote, "At the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of Earth would prevent it being directed against targets in Britain," end quote. Transmitted signals don't travel in a perfectly narrow beam. They inherently spread out the further away from the source they get, and the lower the frequency, the more the spread. Higher frequencies can remain in a narrower beam for longer. So the problem with using lower frequencies for navigation is that at far distances, the signal would cover quite a wide corridor, and you wouldn't know where you were within the beam. Consider the spreading of radio beams similar to light from a torch. Flashlight for our American friends. If we shine the light at a wall and consider that as the target area, the further away the target is from the light source, the larger the area that the light is landing in. Now consider a plane inside that circle of light. The plane can see the light, so it knows it's within the light beam, but it doesn't know where within the beam it is. It could be in the center, but it could also be near the edges. And this is where Lindemann's initial objection came in. That at the distances from Western Germany to targets in England, for a beam to remain narrow enough over the target area to have been any use for guiding bombers, it would have needed a frequency far too high to get over the curvature of Earth. However, he had a slight oversight that the Germans had actually worked out a way of using a much lower frequency. Back in the early 1930s, German electronics firm C. Lorenz AG had developed a blind landing navigation system called the Lorenz beam, which was installed at many airports and guided planes onto the runway whilst flying blind, such as at night or in bad weather. This system worked by transmitting two alternating signals, one from either side of an antenna, along the flight path for the runway. One side would transmit dot sounds, the other side would transmit dash sounds. If a pilot was approaching off-center of the runway, they would only be hearing one of the signals, and they would know they needed to correct either left or right depending on whether they were hearing dots or dashes. When the plane was in the center line for the runway, they would be in the overlap between the two beams, and the pilot would hear both signals, which combined to produce a continuous beep. So as long as the pilot kept adjusting their course to keep hearing that continuous beep, they would come down right on the middle of the runway. The Knickerbein system used this same principle, but in reverse, flying away from the signal source rather than towards it. Projecting a Lorenz beam away towards a target, if a pilot is on that beam and hearing only dots, they know they are left of the target line and needed to adjust to the right. If they're hearing just dashes, then it's the opposite. And if they're in the overlap of the beams, they will hear both signals producing a continuous beep, and they will know they're on the right flight path. And even though these beams would be spreading out more and more over greater distances, the beams could be angled towards or away from each other to produce a very narrow overlap. So even with a low frequency signal at long distances, the plane could be kept on a very fine flight path. And the second overlapping beam used this same principle but on a slightly different frequency to distinguish it apart. Usually one at about 31 MHz and one at 33. So when the plane entered the second beam, a second radio transmitter tuned to that frequency would hear the second dotted signal. When they hit the center line and the merging in the second signal, they knew they were in exactly the right spot to drop their payload. So it was able to produce very accurate results, but without the high frequencies that Lindemann initially presumed it would need. And the documentary explains that the British were initially stumped by this because they suspected some sort of radio navigation was being used based on captured intelligence, but examinations of captured German bombers revealed nothing out of the ordinary in their equipment. The British were aware of the Lorenz system because it was used in airports around the world, but it wasn't until somebody noticed that the Lorenz receivers on the bombers were actually far more sensitive than what would be required for the relatively short distance at airports that they then figured out Knickerbein was using the same frequency signals as the Lorenz system, but at much further distances.
So I asked Coxwalker if there was anything odd about the blind landing receiver, and first he said no, and then he said, but wait a minute, yes, you know, it's much more sensitive than they would need for blind landing. And of course that was it. Effectively, the prisoner had thought we wouldn't spot it because it looked to be an ordinary blind landing receiver, but in fact it was a much better receiver than one needed. It would have the necessary sensitivity, we thought, and so here was the answer.
And funnily enough, the documentary covers Lindeman's reaction to learning about this.
Told him, convinced him on the theory, now, with Eckers's paper, that the beams would bend round sufficiently, that it was in the blind landing receiver. Therefore, they must be on frequencies to which the blind landing receivers could be set, and therefore we could listen for them. And Lindeman changed completely at that point and wrote a minute to Churchill, warning him that they seemed to have some new system which would enable them, the German Air Force, to bomb us fairly accurately at night.
So Taboo seems rather disingenuous here, including Lindeman's initial assessment from the documentary, but failing to include his later assessment once he'd been presented with all the facts. But Taboo's argument also hits several other issues. His entire rebuttal is based on the figures from two antennas, one at Stolberg and one at Cleve, and how they wouldn't reach Derby on a globe because he argues the beams wouldn't bend. Now, of the two antennas, the one at Stolberg Hill is portrayed as the more unlikely on a globe because the top of the antenna was 294 feet above sea level and 443 miles away from Derby, which would leave 118,424 feet hidden behind the curve of Earth. And so Taboo argues the plane would need to be flying at least that high in order to pick up the signal rather than at the 20,000 feet they actually flew at, because he argues they would need direct line of sight to the transmitter, and shows a quote saying that the transmitters were more or less in line of sight. Although more or less is not in line of sight, it's almost in line of sight. So how much difference are we actually talking about here? Well, as we've already covered, even high-frequency radio waves will diffract to an extent, and more so at the lower frequencies that were used by Knickerbein, but just how much diffraction would be needed? Because Taboo's figure of 118,000 feet sounds a lot. Well, the Heinkel HE-111s that used Knickerbein had maximum altitudes between 20 to 22,000 feet depending on the variant. So at 20,000 feet, that would put it 98,000 feet below direct line of sight to the transmitter. Sounds like a lot for sure. But Taboo's own video shows that whilst the antenna is 443 miles from Derby, the distance to the horizon from the top of the antenna is less than 21 miles, meaning once the signal passes the horizon, it still has 422 miles to travel. 422 miles is equal to 2,228,000 feet. So, 98,000 foot drop sounds big, but over 2.2 million feet travelled, that's equal to barely more than 2.5 degrees of diffraction. Now, how does all of this suggest a globe rather than flat Earth? Well, let's take a moment to consider the implications of this whole situation, presuming that everything Taboo Conspiracy has said is correct. Britain and Germany were at war, literally trying to destroy each other, and not for the first time. They were doing everything possible to come up with any new technology or technique that would give them an advantage over the other side. So someone in Germany comes up with the idea of Knickerbein, that according to Taboo would not work on a globe. Now, do German scientists and engineers think the Earth is flat or a globe? If they think it's a globe, then they have just thought up a system which, according to Taboo, would not work. And they're pretty smart people. They must have figured it wouldn't work, and yet they proceed to waste time and resources building it anyway, and then find to their surprise that it did work. Or had they figured the Earth was flat to come up with the system in the first place? But then what about the British? Yes, some people initially dismissed its existence because they weren't convinced it would reach that far over the curve of Earth. However, others also argued that it would. So either they thought the Earth was a globe and everything they'd developed for the war so far had been based on a globe, much of which would not actually work as intended if the Earth were flat, or did they figure the Earth was flat but knew they had to keep the big secret going, so denied the existence of Knickerbein with the excuse of Earth curve to try and hide the big conspiracy, even though it would leave Britain at a disadvantage in a time of war? I mean, in 1943, the British introduced their own radio navigation system to improve their bombing accuracy, a system they called oboe. Oboe actually ran on a higher frequency than Knickerbein. Knickerbein was around 33 megahertz, oboe was up to 200 megahertz. The system proved incredibly effective at targets 250 miles away. However, in December 1943, RAF bombers began targeting Berlin, but they couldn't use their oboe guidance for those missions because at over 500 miles away, Berlin was over the horizon of the system. And so the RAF were forced to resort back to just standard guidance and ground scanning radars on board the aircraft. This system was nowhere near as effective as oboe, and the 4-month campaign bombing Berlin was deemed very unsuccessful. In early 1944, the RAF then switched to targeting areas of France in preparation for D-Day, and could resort back to using the oboe system to great effect, which shouldn't have been an issue if the Earth were flat. Unless the RAF were intentionally hindering themselves to try and protect the conspiracy? Now, for me personally, the more damning part of all of this for Flat Earth is radio navigation was not a new thing at the time. As already covered, the Lorenz system was almost a decade old, nor was high power or high frequency radio signals anything new either. And as Lindemann had highlighted with his initial objection, a high frequency beam would have allowed for very accurate bombing, but it wouldn't work on a globe at those distances. So why did neither side try using it? After the fall of France in June 1940, the Germans installed several more Knickerbein antennas along the coast of France and Belgium, and Luftwaffe squadrons were relocated to airfields closer to Britain so their fighter protection could reach further. In August 1940, they hit what seems to be the furthest target away from Germany, which were the docks at Liverpool, 400 miles from Cleve and 478 miles from Stolberg Hill. However, it doesn't seem as though either of those transmitters were used for that.
They hit Belfast too.
Yes, they did.
Bombing raid. Instead, it seems they used antennas at Cherbourg and Calais, which are within 260 miles of Liverpool. I've even had a flat earther claim that the antenna down in Mollberg proves the Earth is flat because of how far away it is. Seemingly, they've overlooked that when those original 3 antennas were built in 1939, that was the limit of German territory. They hadn't invaded France at that point, so in fact, the antenna at Mollberg, along with the one at Cleve, would give excellent coverage over France. If the Earth were flat, the Germans should have just been able to keep using the Stolberg Hill antenna as the crossbeam. There are areas around central France with elevations of 1,500 feet and higher. An antenna there would have had absolutely no obstructions. Germany could have built their main guidance antenna much further south in France, which coupled with the Stolberg Hill antenna would have given them perfect coverage over the whole of Britain. Germany wouldn't have needed to have built multiple new antennas all along the entire Channel and North Sea coast. So why did they? And putting one antenna much further south away from the coast would have helped protect it from potential attacks. And the British oboe system should have reached Berlin on a flat Earth, at most perhaps needing higher power outputs or higher frequencies, and yet they didn't do either. I mean, the whole coverage about the Battle of the Beams is about how the British learnt about Knickerbein, jammed it using the same frequencies, which made Germany aware that the British knew about it, so they ended up developing 2 new systems called X-Ray and Y-Ray, which used frequencies of 70 MHz and 45 MHz respectively. Both of these were also subsequently jammed by the British using the same frequency, and ultimately the Germans then gave up trying. Why didn't they just use a much broader range of frequencies going much higher up and keep changing them constantly to make them harder to detect? Several years earlier, the scientific director for the German Kriegsmarine, Rudolf Kuhnholm, had been developing a radio system for detecting warships which used a radio frequency of 600 MHz. So such frequencies could be easily produced. Why not have used them for Knickerbein if the Earth was flat? Personally, I would argue that Times of War is about the one time above all else you do not want to knowingly hinder yourself and hand advantages to your enemy by pretending the Earth is shaped differently to reality. And yet, everything about those radio navigation systems, once you look properly at how they were designed and deployed, all point to the Earth being a globe rather than flat. And all of this was more than 15 years before NASA was even founded. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, then please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and then hopefully we'll see you in the next video.
We also had G, which was a hyperbolic navigation system, hyperbolic system for getting fixes.
Yep.
And that worked better at night because, again, it was in the HF range. And it was effective. It was usually effective over Turin. And I believe the record fix they ever got off it was over 700 miles from the UK down near Gibraltar.
Right.
That system was that good that it later got taken up by our American cousins and became called LORAD.
All right. Yeah.
But that's just a prime example of taboo conspiracy, like all flat earthers cherry picking. You use a bit of a documentary, but don't show the other bit that explains how it actually worked and why it works and all the rest. No,
Indeed.
No.
Or contradicts what it says.
Let's face it, those systems were very effective at making you hit the target. As long as your target is the size of a city.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Given that without
they weren't exactly pinpoint, were they?
Given that without them, so like for example, RAF bomber commands bombing at that point in the war at night over Germany, I think 90% of bombs landed more than 20 miles from the city they were targeting.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was the same with Belfast. I mean, Belfast was also hammered because obviously it was building a lot of ships, a lot of warships, but actually it really didn't do much to the docks at all. Production of warships still carried on with the same rate. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, it was only after the introduction of the H2S air-to-ground radar and G that we were really able to start smashing German cities.
Yeah, well, in World War II, probably the safest place to be was at the target.
Yeah.
yeah, you could argue that.
Yep.
So was that system kind of like, I suppose, a prerequisite to what is the what do you call it, ILS? Have I got that right?
No,
is that the same sort of principle?
The Lorenz blind landing system was the equivalent was the first developments of what ILS. That's
right,
like
okay.
G was what happened when we realised that we'd buggered up a blind landing system that we were trying to develop, but it turned out to be much more effective than they thought it would be.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So it ended up being able to cover most of Europe at night.
Oh, guys, I think we might be calling it time. It's just hit midnight, just past midnight here. So I might.
Oh yes, just got 1 o'clock.
Oh, blimey! Is it? Oh, it's lunchtime. I wonder why I was hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming. I have to say thanks to the Peanuts for showing up. It's good to see you. You guys want to say goodbye to Peanuts? I will push the button. So good night, Peanuts.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, night, Peanuts.
See you, Peanuts.
Bye.